I almost got a burger as well. I was just thinking burgers as well, but I changed my mind at the end. I was like,
I originally was gonna get a burger, but like where I'm at, and because I live up in the sticks, I'm in like the middle of nowhere. There's not a ton of places that deliver. Believe it or not, because it's a 9 p.m. Everywhere closes at like 7:30. So I've had my burger here for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, just kind of just sitting here. So it's definitely not warm, but that's why I got a wrap, so it's okay to eat cold.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of surprising. Like even here, things close. Most of them, most places close like 9 or 10. So you wouldn't think that, but it's actually true. Like, so that's
yeah. I'm up in the sticks. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
for sure.
Like half the businesses aren't even open because it's Monday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny.
Yep.
Yep, that's a thing. I remember being in kind of smaller community. I've never been in that small community, but
yeah, I live in a literal village.
oh wow, that's pretty cool. Sounds cool.
Yeah,
anyway.
I really enjoy it though.
Yeah. Is it the kind of size community where like people start to get to know you everywhere, like because it's only so many people live there?
Pretty much. Like, so I'm in a little tiny neighborhood within the village where probably I'd say half of the population of the whole village lives.
Mm-hmm.
I live in kind of like a specific little area. It's got its own like name, and in my little neighborhood of something like, I don't know, I'm just gonna estimate maybe 30 houses. I've got the mayor here. I've got the former chief of police. I've got like the marshal, the county sheriff, like chief.
Wow.
He's in my little subdivision. Like,
Wow.
it's not a big place.
Gotcha. Wow, you guys quite the company. That's impressive. That's exciting.
It's nice. So we just had a snowstorm, and because I've got all these like political figures nearby, we got like the royal treatment for all of the road clearing.
No, yeah.
Like, I woke up on Sunday.
Of course.
Roads were clear.
You would get priority. Your block would get priority over everybody.
Yep.
That's awesome. Oh, hey, Brett. Brett's not first, but close. Brett making up for last week. You wouldn't even have to apologize for that. Like, it's good to see you whenever we can see you. So welcome in, Brett. Nice to see you. And yeah.
Hey, Brett.
I knows Brett because we were on the karaoke together just a few weeks ago.
Actually, Brett and I were chatting a little bit after that too. So Brett's a good guy.
Cool stuff. Yeah, hi, Brett. Good to see you. Yeah, give our friend Brett Brettington a follow. Not only on Twitch, but also on podcast platforms. I'll give you a little bit of a nugget about Brett. Brett is the one who introduced tier lists to this channel. Like, we do tier list rankings from time to time. That's Brett's baby. Like, Brett was the godfather of the tier list because he was doing them on his podcast before. And then he actually came up with the idea. Like, when I recruited him we did our first interview with Brett, and he suggested the tier list idea. I'm like, that's a great idea. So that's how that whole...
It's fun.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. Yeah, we've ranked everything pretty much. Like, we've ranked sandwiches for sure. In fact, we just did that like a couple weeks. It wasn't even that long ago. It was like maybe a week ago we did that. Yeah. So nothing sodas.
Ooh,
though.
Arby's.
Yeah.
You got that Arby's picture up there. So like this, and I feel like this is maybe a controversial thing, but I am a big time Arby's stan. I love Arby's.
Oh, it's not controversial here. We're big Arby's people over here. Yeah, C-Dub, Brett, myself, and others. We're all big fans of Arby's.
My peoples.
Yeah. I dig it. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start this shit up. I'm really excited. Let's do it.
Yeah. Let me grab my
Oh.
bag.
Oh, that's there it is. Yeah, we have already loaded our sandwiches. We've got them on deck already. We're like ready to go with them. Hey everybody, good to see you. Welcome in. Make sure I got my levels right. Here we go. Yes, hello. I'm David. This is the Sandwich. Nice to see you all again. This is our weekly conversation with other people throughout Twitch and other platforms, and it's great to continue our journey, getting to know the people who are part of live streaming and and other things like videos, TikToks, YouTube, stuff like that. So tonight we're going to be hanging out with a good friend of ours who was just recently featured, as we just talked about, on our karaoke show, and currently she would be located in in the state of New York, and she streams a lot of cool things as a gamer, and is a musician, plays guitar, and can really and also is a D&D fan, and that's actually pretty cool. We'll get into more of that as we go along. Let's introduce to all of you once again Aya Kane Powda. How's it going, Aya? Welcome to the program.
Hey, I'm really well. Thanks for having me too. I really appreciate you reaching out. I'm getting my sandwich situations organized.
Okay.
We're getting situated here.
Okay. Well, it's really nice and I reciprocate that. I mean, it's really cool to have you here. I've said it before. I'm sure other people will know as well. You're definitely one of the friendlier faces of Twitch. I think a lot of people throughout Twitch music and other genres have gotten to know you. So yeah, well, it's nice to know you as well, and pretty cool to have your company. Now we asked that question of how did you find Twitch, but I find it really interesting to see what was your gateway into the Twitch music community. I mean, now I can see you have a loudly inclusive hoodie on.
Yeah.
I love the representation there. So you've definitely gotten to know a lot of really, really cool musicians on this platform. Who was the first of them? Like, who was the first one that kind of got you that you've got to know once you've been on Twitch?
Yeah, so my Twitch story is a little scattered. So effectively, oh, my camera decided to get all fuzzy. I apologize. I'm not sure what happened. Let me see if I can fix that. I might be a fuzzy fella for a minute. In any case, I initially found Twitch through literally my oldest friend, who this guy who 3 houses down from me growing up. We grew up together. Literally, one of my first friends. 3 houses down from me. We've known each other our whole lives. I know every single one of his siblings from since they were born. Like we're him and I are the oldest. And so back in, I don't know, 2016 or maybe 14, he started streaming on Twitch, just playing video games, and I wanted to show some support. So I hopped on. I made a handle. I made a username, and that's how I initially found Twitch. And I didn't really mess around with Twitch too much. In the meantime, then a couple years later, I found Critical Role on the Geek and Sundry channel, and that actually kind of got me more interested in Twitch. And I became a little bit more aware of it. At the time, I was living in Oakland, so I was around Twitch people. I just saw Twitch folks on my commute. I saw the Twitch offices periodically, and yeah, it just kind of ended up working out that Twitch had always kind of been in the periphery of my life. And then the pandemic hit, and I realized that I couldn't go out to bars. I couldn't go and see live music and everything. And I hopped on, and I saw some music streamers, and it just kind of went from there. I would say the first music streamer I actually saw on Twitch. The first music streamer I saw on Twitch, I think, was either Megan Lennius. It might have been Andy the Frenchie. And then who's another one I saw really early on? I forget. There's a couple folks I saw really early on, but Megan Lennius. Oh, Raquel was one of them I saw really early on too, in early 2020. And but I kind of really didn't pay attention to him. I saw Andy the Frenchie. I was like, oh, she's so chaotic. This is a bit too much for me. And Megan Lennius, I loved. I was looking for a queer music streamer, so queer streamers in general. Actually, I think that's how it happened. Mm-hmm. I was looking for queer streamers, and this is before you could get more specific with the tags. All you could do was there was an LGBT plus tag, and so I was just looking through that thing, and I think that's when I saw Megan. I was like, oh, you can do music on here. That's when it registered. I can't see live music anymore. This might be a good opportunity to hear and see it. And so I started hanging out in Megan's stream a little bit. I found Andy the Frenchie stream, found that was really chaotic and didn't really scratch the itch I was looking for. But after I went to Andy's streams, one of her main mods is Cafe Sparrow, if you know who that is.
Yeah, I know Brett. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Brit. So I saw Cafe Sparrow, and I saw that she also had the queer tag, the LGBT tag on, and so I hopped onto her channel, and I was just like, this is weird. I like this, and so I ended up becoming like going to her stream a whole bunch, and then I decided because of the proximity between Brit and Andy's stream to check out Andy's stream again, and then I liked it more, and then that just like erupted. From there, I'm just like, okay, now I'm gonna check out all the music streams I can, and I was just like hanging out in every music stream I could. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure this out on my end, but I'm super fuzzy, and it doesn't look like it's gonna like correct itself. Even with all the lights, I've even got like the good light set up, and it still doesn't want to work.
I mean, so, I always do the magic, put my hand in front of the camera trick like this.
Yeah, but like, let's see here. Oh.
No?
Yeah, see, it doesn't want to do it. I've got like one of those like decent Logitech ones, and it's still being funny.
That is funny.
Yeah. If we just keep it like this with the two of us, I think it's less noticeable.
It'd be fine. Yeah, maybe like something will kick in, like as you bring your sandwich out, maybe it'll fix it. Like, but
yeah,
we'll get that in a second. But that's great. That's a great story. I mean, I love seeing the journey that you've made, and it's kind of cool to see. And as you mentioned, the queer community on Twitch is really been such a great part of it. You know, it's very neat to see representation there, and it's very valuable, you know, and I love that. But all in all, really cool. Like, and yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, like we've seen you in a lot of cool places. I don't know if you mod any channels. I don't know.
Oh, dude, I mod everywhere.
Okay,
that's the thing. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people know me. I think is because for like 2022.
Mm-hmm.
2022 particularly, I picked up so many swords. And 2023, I kind of like a lot of those people stopped streaming, which maybe was for the best for me because I wasn't modding everywhere. But like the first person I ended up ever actually modding for, he doesn't really stream anymore, but Mike Bass, he's a guitarist, and he still like plays, and he's all over the place. He's I think in Tennessee, or maybe he's in Austin right now. But Mike Bass was the first person I modded for, and he plays guitar. He does percussion guitar, where he does lots of like finger picking, and then he taps the guitar and he flicks it, and he's got all these cool things to do percussive guitar. And the dude's amazing. It's really a tragedy that he doesn't stream anymore.
Yeah, that's too bad. I never got to see it. Oh wow.
Dude's the best. Just a genuinely nice guy too.
Cool. So, but you're saying
I started modding there, and then I just started picking up swords like crazy. By the time we met in San Diego at TwitchCon, I think I had like 30 swords. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, but I think that's about right, because I think most mods I know that I've come to know, I don't know a few, you know, obviously Stuart, you know, I know Pete, I know Cover Time Pete, like I know a lot of like really prolific mods. King, of course, is one, King Dambreaker. When you're a mod, you're not modding like 2 channels. You're going to be modding like a lot more, closer to 10, maybe 20, maybe, you know, so it's not surprising to me. Hey, you got your camera back and your focus back.
I literally didn't do anything. I was dipping a fry.
The fry did it. The fry fixed it.
It was potato solved everything.
Let's give it up for the fry. Let's go.
Wow. Nowadays, though, I think I've got somewhere close to 15 swords at the moment. Tops.
Okay. Yeah, not too bad. I mean, and I wouldn't ask the question of how do you manage that, because I think it's not as hard as it sounds, because like people are on at different times. So like I imagine, and you're not the only mod for most channels, right? So I imagine.
Yeah, and it's also not a job, you know, like
right.
As a mod, you're there to kind of help out and do everything. If it's not like you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
You're there to help out because you're going to be there anyways. And you want to contribute. It's you want to be kind of part of the fun.
I love that. As they always say, like modding is always appreciated but never required, because you know it's just some people. It's really kind that people would be willing to do that, and as you mentioned, like in a lot of cases, the odds of you being there are pretty good anyway. So regardless, it's a convenient situation. Yeah, Brett says one of The Power of Potatoes Unmatched, Charlie. And by the way, hi Charlie the Goddess. How's it going? The Godly Fry. And Rothgar, welcome in. Good to see you, Rothgar. And nice to see you, my friend. Yeah, blessed be thy potato. Yes, absolutely. Rothgar, your timing is impeccable here, because later in the program we'll get into a pretty solid dive. I don't know if we're going to call it deep, but we're going to maybe medium depth of D&D. So we'd love to take your thoughts on that. And what do you use to play D&D right now? Are you using like a tabletop simulator or something like that?
So typically when I do D&D nowadays, because I've got a bunch of D&D, you guys. I play so much D&D, and I don't even just play D&D. I'm even in like a weekly Baldur's Gate thing as well.
Nice.
So my D&D schedule, I guess I'll answer your question first. First and foremost, what I would use is, for the most part, I use Roll20, which is on the web. It's a virtual tabletop, and that's right, Brendan. And D&D Beyond, or just the Roll20 app, and that's typically how I run all my D&D. I am in a weekly game every Tuesday, and that group I have been playing with literally every single week since September or October of 2019. So we've been together for years. We're like all really, really close friends. So much so that one of the guys got married last year, and a whole bunch of us were there.
It's amazing.
Like, we're all really close friends by this point. And so that game, that weekly one, we rotate. There's 6 of us, and we do hardcover books like The Tomb of Annihilation and things like that. And so we'll go through a book. And then the DM for that, after that book ends, that DM becomes a player. Then one of the players becomes a DM. So the idea is nobody's ever always the DM. Nobody's the forever DM. And everybody has to take a turn being a DM. So everybody gets the chance to play. And right now, the campaign that we're doing right now, I'm the DM. I'm DMing a campaign right now. We just started it 2 weeks ago. So we're running a campaign called Out of the Abyss, and I'm the DM for it. But in a year or so, once this one wraps up, then I get to become a player, and then somebody else is going to take over, and they'll be the DM. But
DM
otherwise, I've got...
Like, when you say DM, what do you mean? Dungeon Master?
Yeah, the Dungeon Master. The person who effectively runs the game. So either you're the Dungeon Master or you're the player. And I'm the DM for my Tuesday nights for the next year at least, because it's definitely going to take a year to get through this campaign. But it's a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
And then otherwise, I have a Wednesday game that I play every other week. I have and then I have 2 games that I play every other Sunday. And then additional to that, I have a Baldur's Gate thing that I play with 3 other folks. And then and that's on the weekend in the evenings as well. So there's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons in my life right now.
You're quite
great because
yeah.
I live in the middle of nowhere, and it's a great socializing opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that you pointed at something really neat about the Dungeons and Dragons culture, is that it's a really great way to meet friends. Like, that's really cool. You've connected so well with each other that you went to support your friends at a wedding. Like, that's really neat. That is really cool.
All the sort of like hallmarks in everybody's lives, like now we're all intertwined. When something happens, like as an example, I moved out here to New York. I live in upstate New York in the middle of nowhere. I moved from Oakland, California, so I crossed the whole country. 2 of the guys I play D&D with, they're brothers, and they live down by the city, and I live upstate. So there's like roughly 2 hours in between us, a 2-hour drive in between us. And I spent Thanksgiving at their place. So, like, I came out here in the middle of nowhere last year in September. And, hey, Panda. And I had nothing. I have nobody out here. Like, I don't know anybody out here. I want to be clear. I don't know anybody out here, like, directly in my vicinity. When I moved out here, I just had a good opportunity. So for Thanksgiving, the 2 of the guys I played D&D with, they're like, why don't you just hang out over here? Like, why don't you come and have Thanksgiving dinner with us? And so I had a nice family dinner with them Thanksgiving this year.
How many games did you play that night?
We didn't play any D&D last night.
Okay.
That night.
Okay.
It was all what did we play? We played Jenga. We played some
Jenga's
trivia
good too.
Yeah.
It could be intense. Let's say hi to the Rusty Panda. Great to see you, Panda. It's nice to see you. I hope your interview went well. Yesterday I think it was, right? Yeah, yesterday with Why Do We Stream, which is a really seems like a really cool channel. So sorry I missed it, but I hope that went well. Panda's also a talk show streamer, so give our friend a follow. We're doing the Wicked Wednesdays every Wednesday night. Brett says only turkey was slayed along with some sides and pie. There you go. There you go.
Oh man, so good. All right, I'm gonna bite into my. Let's see if you can see this here.
All right.
I've got a buffalo chicken spinach wrap. Let me see if I can get it in the light better.
You gotta do that 3D effect. You gotta bring it in.
Last Action Hero style.
I love it. That looks great. While you get that situated, I want to read a comment from Hearthgar Aurora. Finding a good group to play with is the most important part of playing. Having online play as an option now has made the game so much more accessible and can save a game when someone moves away. Yeah. Yep. Panda says, yes, it did, and it's so good to see you, Arcane Mystery Face. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, but Panda, welcome in. It's good to see you. Panda, let me know if you have anything as far as D&D, because we feel like this is going to be a dominant topic in the next 2 weeks. Not just this week, but next week when we have Karadin. We're going to do a one-shot next week, so I'm very excited about that. Oh, nice. You play online? That's super cool.
Super fun.
Yeah, and Brendan, great to see
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantasy Grounds is really good. So Rusty mentioned that they use Fantasy Grounds. Mm-hmm. I mentioned that I used Roll20 Fantasy Grounds as another virtual tabletop. So basically, the idea is it's kind of like Tabletop Simulator, right?
Yep.
Except instead of it being 3D and you kind of looking around, it's more like a top-down view. And it works out really well. Fantasy Grounds is really good. It's a good system to use. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I'm actually D&D became a big deal for me is not only because I've been playing D&D for decades, but also in the Bay Area, in San Francisco Bay Area, there's a gigantic D&D community. There's there's groups that, like, pre-pandemic, there were activities all the time, all of these games going on all the time, and there was Facebook groups. I mean, it was the only reason I even have Facebook is because of the D&D groups for all the coordination of all the games. And you would just, like, people would post games like, we're gonna play a game at this board game shop or at this cafe or at this restaurant or whatever. If you want to join, let me know and we'll make space. And that's basically how it started back in like 16. And then it just grew from there. It was great.
Oh, that's so rad. It's and the thing about it is, I know Brad mentioned that he mirrors my D&D experience, which is not that much, but because of the prevalence of it on Twitch, I think that you can definitely acclimate to it pretty quickly, and I think it's one of the things that I'm looking forward to next week as well, and getting to know more about it. And I think I'll get to know more and more about it every week, because you're gonna run into more friends who get into it, and that'll be a big help. Did you know? Well, let me just bring in the sandwich of the week before we do this. So
yeah,
I gotta give you my sandwich of the week, everybody. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Time for the sandwich of the week. So we just saw a little bit of it from IO. Let me show you what I got tonight. And I also went a little bit lighter. I said a little bit. Definitely lighter than last week, right? This is a tuna salad croissant sandwich. And my favorite thing here is the accoutrements. The lettuce looks really good. I'm really excited to try this. But tonight we have a bonus. In addition, I'm going to be trying these cheesy Doritos Late Night Sizzling Cheeseburger chips. I'm very curious about them. We'll see what these taste like. Io, for our audience, I saw you have a buffalo chicken wrap.
Yes. Buffalo chicken wrap is probably gonna get my teeth. I'm gonna have orange lips and teeth. That's okay. Anything buffalo chicken, I'm pretty much in. I love buffalo sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I learned one of the easiest ways to kind of prep like wings and everything from buffalo sauce is literally just using Frank's Red Hot and butter. And you heat them up, you mix them together, and that's pretty much all you need to make a solid buffalo foundation. And then you just build it up from there. And honestly, that's all I need. I love it.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how easy that is, right? Like it really is just like that. Frank's red hot sauce is like is essentially the dominant ingredient in the flavor. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
true. So you do that, you toss your wings in there. So
Yeah, with butter.
oh, plenty of butter, absolutely. So Javar, welcome in. Good to see you. Give our friend Javar a follow. Javar is a music composer. And Javar has actually a lot of cool things on YouTube. You can find him on YouTube at the same handle, Javar. Brendan, good to see you. And yeah, there's a lot here to. It's International Waffle Day, says Brett. Yes. And no crab chips. Nope. Late night Doritos. Do they tell blue jokes? I don't know. We'll find out momentarily. Let me show you. I mean, they just look like Doritos. Like, there's nothing exciting about the look. I mean, they look exactly like regular Doritos. Like, there's nothing. There's no.
They look good though.
They do. Let's try one.
You have a going, Panda.
Ooh, not bad. Oh, no worries.
Good to
Yeah,
see you.
good to see you, Panda. I'm gonna give Panda another shout. Give our friend Panda a follow, everybody. So good to see you again. Maybe you'll run into Panda when you're playing D&D one of these days, you know? Possibly. I'm not sure. The package of the time log. Nice. But yeah, great to see you, Panda. Yeah, give our friend Panda's shows on Wednesday nights, not 8 o'clock Eastern. Oh yeah, the Dorito chip. That's awesome. Great usage of
Panda's good people.
Oh, 1,000%. So I think you got to meet Panda too, right? When Panda was in Vegas for TwitchCon.
We got to hang out a bunch.
Cool. That's really cool.
How many bags of Doritos? I don't know if I swiped. I think I maybe got a couple bags of Dorito. I didn't really go too crazy on Doritos while we were there.
That Dorito exhibit was pretty cool though. Like I wish I had more time to go check it out and try my hand at it. So this chip is very good. It has surprisingly every flavor, including mayonnaise. I didn't think the mayonnaise would have been part of this, but you get the burger.
Mayonnaise gets a bad rap. I love mayo.
Right here. Me too. Actually, I'll give it. It might actually even be Thousand Island. Not sure. This is like that.
Yeah, but Thousand Island is partly mayo, so that works.
Of course, absolutely. It's either that. See, here's the thing. If it's just ketchup and mayonnaise, it's the same. It's basically the same thing. Just adding some pickles to it, really. So, honestly, whichever it is.
Sweet relish.
It even has the lettuce. I can taste the lettuce in here. This is really good.
That's wild. That's
Right?
pretty wild.
I'm like having more fun with the chips than I am with the sandwich right now, but so let's have the sandwich too.
Here's my question. What are you drinking?
Oh, I just finished it. I think I'll get another one though. Like this is a Ballast Point Fathom IPA.
Nice.
Really good. Like they're out of San Diego. Next time you're in, I assume you're coming. Are you coming to TwitchCon this year?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Oh,
September.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm
September.
definitely gonna be there.
Yeah, Ballast Point. If you see any Ballast Point, go get it because it's really good.
I can't do IPAs. I can't do. I don't like hoppy drinks, but
Okay.
I do really love sours. And what I'm drinking here is a gin and ginger.
Ooh.
I use ginger beer if at all possible instead of ginger ale.
Mhm.
So gin and ginger. Or if I'm gonna drink like a beer, I mean, I'll go with a sour. But the gin and ginger in particular is really good because let me grab it here. I've got it next to me. So I've got this brand of gin called St. George's, and they make this terroir, and there's a little bear on the front. And this is a West Coast company. And it's my go-to. That's my go-to gin, and I prefer gin of all like the liquors. And yeah, so St. George's terroir is my gin of choice. I have to special order it out here.
Oh, I love this. I love the enthusiasm here. I can back some brews. Yeah. Brett was saying, where was it? But how many cups of Velveeta? No Velveeta, which is fine. Like it tastes pretty good without it. The question from Brett was, "What's your go-to ginger beer? Is it Gosling's, Goya, other?" You got St. George's there, so maybe that was.
I have to. I am sort of like resigned to what's available out here. It's weird. Upstate New York, they don't do a whole lot of ginger beer. But they do have Reed's, which is pretty good. Reed's is a really good ginger beer. But my plan is to just actually, honestly, just start making my own. Just make my own ginger beer in the future. Get like a ginger bug going and make my own.
Would that be hard to do? Like, how long do you think that process? Oh no.
The process to get it going, it takes a little while to get it going. But once you pick up momentum, then it's really easy.
Oh yeah. So Brendan has asked, have you checked out the birth? And by the way, give our friend indubitably Brendan a follow, musician on Twitch. Now the thing about it is, I was on the other side of the state, so I mean, I think Buffalo Wild Wings was in Buffalo, or am I?
Buffalo Wings come from Buffalo, New York, and when I actually drove out here, because I drove across the country from Oakland to where I'm at on the east side of the state, I drove through Buffalo because I've actually got some friends who live in Buffalo. There's you may have seen her. She mods on a few channels. Jewel, I believe it's Jewel 1110. I forget what the numbers are, but Jewel is her username. And so I got to meet her, and she also she brought her husband. So we actually all went to a place called Gus's in Buffalo, New York, and we got some proper buffalo wings on the way on my drive over. So last year, September, I had some proper buffalo wings in Buffalo, New York. I did not go to Anchor Bar.
Yeah, that's what I understand. That's the birthplace of buffalo wings. But I mean, if you're in the area, I'm sure you're gonna get great wings. It might even be better. Like sometimes that's how it works out, you know.
I'll have to check it out. I do go to Buffalo sort of on a semi-regular basis because I like to go to Toronto a lot. And so I just drive across New York, and you know, if you're going to Toronto from New York, you're driving through Buffalo. So I may have to make a pit stop at the Anchor Bar.
That's pretty cool. Rothgar says, "Did you go to see the waterfall while you were in Buffalo?" That's a hell of a question.
No. You know, maybe I should, but like Niagara Falls doesn't seem that appealing to me. I mean, kind of it does, but at the same time, it kind of doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I will. I lived in the Bay Area for 15 years, and I never once went to Alcatraz. So like that's kind of when it comes to like attractions, they don't have too big of a pull on me.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like we were just talking about in the chat was actually getting into like, is Anchor Bar the best choice for buffalo wings? And you know, like probably not. Like you know, and I was just making the point in the chat, like. But no, I hear you there, IO. Now going to Toronto. Now what? Now you said you go there regularly. That's interesting because they do have a really good Twitch music scene over there.
Yeah. So I'm mod, and I'm also I just absolutely adore Alana Maddie. And so her and Dan Young they do a band called the Two Body Project. And so back in January, I think it was January, they did a record release in Toronto. And so I drove over there, and I got to stayed the night at a hotel, but I was there for the record release party, hung out with them, tons of other Twitch folks. And I just love Canada. I'm originally from Detroit, so I'm basically an adopted Canadian.
That's true.
And I just love Canada, and I really, really love Toronto.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to Toronto and got to watch Alana's record release party. It was a great set. Took a bunch of photos. Got to hang out with lots of other Twitch folk, and just had a great time.
Pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And I know that Lana and Dan are now over in Halifax, Nova Scotia, but I do know they come back to Toronto from time to time to do shows and what
all
have
the
you.
time.
Nice.
I think Dan might even be there right now. I know he was doing some he was like an announcer or something like that for some climbing competition.
Oh really? He's got a good voice for that. Yeah.
So, yeah, over the weekend he was like emceeing a climbing thing.
Yep.
Yeah. There's the Danielle, Alana, and Melissa
That's
show
in
in
Ottawa though.
Ottawa.
Yeah, yeah, it's in Ottawa.
That's unfortunately it's on like a Wednesday. Otherwise, I would go. But Ottawa's closer to me than Toronto is.
Wow. Yeah, it makes sense because you're further east, so it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
you be
Montreal is like 3 hours, 3.5 hours away
really?
from me.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I live like pretty much like if you were to like draw a line between New York City and Montreal,
Hmm.
they would meet basically where I am. I live if you look on a map in New York, there's a place there's a lake called Lake George.
Yeah.
That's the sort of general area that I live in. And so all of my friends who
Ooh.
make that trip from New York to Montreal or back and forth, they all know like stop at my place, have like a rest stop, we can have a drink, use the bathroom, just like chill out for a little bit because it's a 6 hour drive otherwise.
No, that's so cool. I mean, and what a cool setup too. Like you get to hang out with friends on their way to coming and going, and then you're set up for a good trip wherever you want to go. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm right in the middle. I'm going up to Burlington for the eclipse. I know actually Cafe Sparrow, she's over in Burlington in that like Burlington area. So her and I are gonna hang out and watch. We're gonna be in the full whatever it's called, where the full eclipse.
Yeah.
Um, so we're gonna hang out for that in Burlington. That's a couple hours away. But yeah, I've had people stop over here. I've had if you know Damonarchy, Damonarchy's actually hung out here for a while. Like he crashes here sometimes.
Huh.
Pencils, Pencils has stopped over here.
Really?
Yeah.
I know both of them very well.
Who
That's
else?
great.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's really great having like in my location, even though I'm in the middle of nowhere, people can still kind of stop by, and it's just it's nice. They get to hang out with my dogs.
Aw, I love it. Yeah, it's really cool that you've been so really cool to have it definitely like I mentioned like I revere the mods as much as I do the streamers honestly. So like having pencils like that's and Dave Anarchy like they're both really that's really great company. Horace Joe, welcome in. Good to see you. Rothgar says I have
Hey,
not
Joe.
decided where I'm going for the eclipse yet. Maybe Kingston, maybe south of Montreal. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I can't really.
I know people are going to be in Kingston. I know people are going to be in Toronto.
Mhm.
I know, like, because I think the total what I forget what the word is. There's a word for it when it's the full eclipse experience. The Buffalo area, Toronto. I know a ton of people are going to be in Montreal. I might even be in Montreal, just depending on what Cafe Sparrow wants to do. My job's remote, so I can just take my laptop anywhere. So I might even just spend some time up in Montreal for the eclipse. And that'll be fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be great. Boy, it's really cool. And yeah, Brendan says, where are the best spots for the eclipse this time around? I mean, I think I mentioned a good one. Like, there's a couple of good spots right there, and I can't contribute to that answer because I have no idea. But if anyone in the chat would like to contribute, feel free. As long as the cloud cover isn't a factor the day of, yeah. And yeah, it's great to see Joe here too. Joe's also like a really good friend to many in the community. I've seen Joe at EBX Aaron. I've seen Joe here. I've seen Joe. A lot of cool
Joe's
spots.
good people. I'm sad because I never got to hang out with Joe, and Joe's a Bay Area folk, and the whole time I was in the Bay Area, I never got to hang out with him.
That's all right. I mean, there'll be other shots at it, I'm sure. Yeah. Now, how long were you in the Bay Area? So you're originally from Michigan, and then you moved to the West Coast. You're in the Bay Area for a little while, and then and so how many years were there between moving there and then coming over to upstate New York?
Yeah, no, I was in the Bay Area for 14 years.
Wow.
And Bay Area, worked for the government there in the hospitals, and then had the opportunity to get a house, and I looked all over the country, and I found this area here, and yeah, I ended up falling in love with it. It like hit all the right like chords for me. I'm a bit of a weirdo. You gotta understand this. I'm a weirdo, okay? I'm a total weirdo. I've got a little bit of that like prepper streak in me. I think that comes from living in Detroit. I gotta like prepare for the worst case scenario, and so looking for houses. I swear to God, this is part of my rationale for picking like living in a village in upstate New York. I was looking for. I had all these criteria. I wanted to have a place near fresh water because of because of global warming, right? Coming from California, there's all these fires. It's so dry, and I'm worried about like all the global warming and water becoming scarce. And so I wanted to move to an area where there's a lot of water. And New York, it rains all the time. I live near the Hudson River, so like lots of water accessibility. I wanted to have space so I could have like a garden and chickens and stuff like that, and I have that. I wanted to have a place where there'd be opportunity for snow sports because I love to snowboard. Absolutely, that's where I'm at now. We just got like 2 feet of snow the other day, so it just checked off a whole bunch of marks, and I could afford it, which is a big
Oh,
deal.
huge. And you mentioned you have a basement, just like Danny does.
Yeah, I'm in my basement now. It is cold,
Okay.
but not too bad. A space heater does well. It's 63 degrees, which is actually pretty comfortable for me.
Yeah, it's starting. I think it's fair to say it's starting to warm up everywhere. So it's just nice. It's getting the spring weather for a lot of people. Pretty cool.
Not for me. It literally we just had a huge snowstorm on from Friday night to Saturday. We
Mhm.
literally got 2 feet of snow over the course of like 30 hours.
Oh, okay. So maybe you
And
got a little bit more to go in your area. That's fair.
yeah,
Oh man, Brett too. Brett got it pretty good
yep,
too. Io, I'm gonna go grab another beer. Let me just take a moment to do
yeah.
that. Feel free to chat with the chat. Maybe we can we can segue to a story. Let me think. Describe your first, because I don't know how many years you've been going to TwitchCon. Because I don't know if the one you went to in 2022 is your first one, but
Yeah, 2022 is my first
oh,
one.
it's okay. Okay. So yeah, share the experience of seeing that for the first time, meeting people that you hadn't seen before for the first time, and so on. And I'll be right back.
Yeah, for sure. All right, chat. So here's the deal. Let's see if my camera is gonna keep me fuzzier and get sharp. Okay. Davey made a huge mistake, you guys, with me being in control here. No. Okay, so TwitchCon 2022. First time I ever went to TwitchCon. Big deal. I lived in upstate, or not upstate. I lived in NorCal. I literally drove down to San Diego. It was like a huge. It was an incredibly long drive because I took a longer route because I have some friends who live in between. I never get to see them, so I wanted to stop and say hi to them. So I took a longer route than normal. Ended up getting down to San Diego, and I didn't know what to expect. Because I really don't stream very often. I stream sometimes, but like I think I have like at the time in 2022, I think I had maybe like 300 people. Correct. That's correct, Brett. And so I get down there, not really thinking anything of it, and just figured it'd be nice to hang out with folks, see people, just it'd be a nice social activity. And I get down there and I see all these folks. And I'm like chatting with people. One of the first people I see down there is Missy Alcazar, and like I very like bashfully like I'm like Missy, like hi Missy, like I'm Iocane. And like super gracious and welcoming was Missy, and she was hanging out with a few other folks. I think she was hanging out with NL, and I forget who else. She's hanging out with a few folks. And so then we just started like chatting, and it became very clear that it was an extremely warm and welcoming environment. And so then I ended up seeing other people. I saw like Kendra. I called her over. Effectively, I ended up becoming like the wrangler, and I started wrangling everybody. Like, hey, you come here. Hey, you come here. Yeah, Kendra was there. Kendra was there in 2022. And so I was trying to like pull everybody in for anybody who I figured might be a bit more socially awkward, because I can relate to that in many ways. And so I'm like, hey, come here. Let's have fun. Let's socialize. Everybody wants to see you. You're so cool. And it was this great experience. And I was blown away not only by how like welcoming everybody was, but the thing that actually floored me the most was when people, because like I said, I didn't stream. I'm a behind the I'm a chat person. I'm in the the chat side of it. I'm not on the screen side, so nobody knew what I looked like. And when people started realizing who I was, it was like people was like, "Holy shit! Like you're Iocane." And
Yes.
it became this like it was so welcoming, so wholesome. It was genuinely the highlight of 2022 for me. Like I had like in my personal life, I had a couple. I mean, these last few years since the pandemic have been really hard on me personally. And so going to like TwitchCon in 2022 was such a big deal. It was so wholesome, so welcoming, so just wonderful. It was great. Hey, Stream Scribe, I saw you were over with Danny earlier. Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, I could see it too. Yeah, I mean, hope that went well, or hope it's gonna go well. I'm not sure. Maybe it just happened earlier, but yeah, always good. Yeah, this is a. I should mention what this is. This is a tuna salad croissant sandwich. So there you go. There you go. But not a coincidence. Uh oh. Oh,
I didn't realize you
I
guys were in
think
the
I
same
know
house.
what's coming. But Carlo, great to see you. And I hope, and we also got to meet Juke over there. Like that was really cool. I did not know Ken was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
There he is. There he is.
Hey,
We've seen it.
it's great to see.
We've seen it coming.
I love it. I love it. Welcome in, everybody. How's it going? I predict a riot. I predict a riot. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. Our good friend Juke's in reception. What is up, my friends? Good to
Nice.
see you. I'm Davey. I'm a variety streamer based in Los Angeles. And tonight I'm on with our friend Aya Kane Powder. We both were at TwitchCon 2022, as was our friend Human Juke 81. We're just talking about the experience of being at, and it was also my first TwitchCon too, so it was just really, really cool to hear that. Thanks for sharing that story with us. And welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. Peppercorn Lights, great to see you again. Let me see. Black Hole Raid. Who wrote that? Black Hole
What up,
Raid.
Danny?
Don't you come.
Hey, Scissor.
That's great. Hey, PJ, how's it going? Scissorman, see you. And Mama Juke, welcome in. Good to see you. Hope you guys had a great time. Kurt, it's always good to see you. Snapdragon, Sleazy, and welcome in. But yeah, Brendan says NL's so fun to be around and dance with. Holy shit, that's fair.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
great
Yeah.
people. They super fun carrying around folks just like on their shoulders with their crazy platform boots. What the French toast? That was amazing.
For sure. Let me give a shout to our friend Danny too. Human Juke 81. Give her a friend, extremely talented friend, Juke a follow. There's the link. And yeah, it's so good to see you. I'm honored to have Danny here again tonight. Thanks again for the raid. And yeah, I guess, boy, good times. Speaking of Juke, do you remember when Juke was on with the Risky Biscuit Band doing their set? Like at the...
That set, so I don't know if you know about that set, but that set was actually a really big deal to the convention itself. So that set that Danny and the Risky Biscuit boys were doing, okay, because I was chatting with I can't remember what his name is. He's one of one of the staff guys who also attends those things. He was talking about how the San Diego Comic-Con has a very hard line stop. You have to stop at 6 p.m. And at 6 p.m. like there's something where like you have to stop. But they knocked Rage. They did a Rage song, and they killed it. They absolutely brought the house down. It brought a bunch of people who typically don't hang out in the music scene out. Everybody was going nuts. That they were actually granted permission to go beyond that 6 p.m. like curfew, which was like a huge deal because I guess that is like never allowed. It was such a great performance, and that's why if you were there for that performance. They at the very end of the song, like it was just like pulled the plug. It ended immediately because they had already gone far and beyond when they were supposed to, and they had to like try to like basically be like, all right, you gotta go. So yeah, that was a big deal. Their set, they did such a great set. Danny was up there absolutely killing it. what an amazing set.
Absolutely.
For everybody.
Yeah, they brought the house down as a perfect description because like I felt that like it was really amazing stuff, like magic. It was a magical set. And Juke says, "Yeah, we ran." You know
Your
what was
mind's so
really
far away.
more Juke lore? Actually, we'll point to. Sorry to kind of throw this on Danny, but I think that was the same weekend that Danny was like accepted as a Twitch partner, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah, at
Yeah,
TwitchCon.
I was so happy in that moment. That was so cool. Our dude is legendary. So it was a long time coming, I thought. So it was really cool. And
No.
but yeah,
Highlight of my year. I loved it. And the thing about it, if folks are considering TwitchCon, if you haven't been to TwitchCon,
Mhm.
TwitchCon in and of itself is fine. The when you go to TwitchCon, TwitchCon is, and this is very, I don't know, this is a weird thing to say. TwitchCon, the convention itself, is maybe the least fun part of the entire experience when you go to TwitchCon. When you go to TwitchCon, TwitchCon is your excuse to go to TwitchCon. And then after the convention ends, that's when everything gets lit and you're out and you're partying, and that's when everything hits the wall and you're going crazy. All the activities after TwitchCon is when it's a lot of fun. And TwitchCon itself is the excuse to go, and TwitchCon itself is actually a great opportunity to meet a lot of people. But the fun, especially in San Diego, the fun is afterwards, going to like the Shout House, going to all these shows. There was a concert that it was an extension of Auburn Music. It was on a farm. It was like hay bales you sat on. People went up and were performing. It was incredible.
yeah,
So much fun. TwitchCon is the excuse to go party and do other things. The convention itself is fine.
yeah.
Everything else is where it goes crazy. And it happened in Vegas too.
It did. I mean, you remember the late night buzz like at the end of the weekend, like was
Oh man,
insane, so good. Yeah.
and there's so many things to do. Like I remember at the one in San Diego,
Hey,
there
Steven.
were a couple things going on. There was like a Megan Thee Stallion thing that people were gonna go. I think it was Kim Petras and Megan Thee Stallion in 2022. And you could go to that, or you could go to the rooftop concert that had like Megan and Sunfire and like Very Handsome
Sashi,
Billy
Tyler Loves, I think, were part of that too, right?
yes,
Yeah.
there's tons of people up there, and that's when like everybody first met. Like that TwitchCon 2022 is when everybody met Willow Stevens. Nobody knew who she was before that.
This is
TwitchCon
true.
22,
This is
she
true.
showed up, and everybody's like, "Who is that? She seems cool." And now Willow's just massive, and she's just amazing.
Yeah, well, we're kind of talking about two different things. So, 2022 was San Diego, and I just like you said, I was just like, oh, this gal seems cool. Let me go say hi. And it's like, what's your name? My name is Willow Stevens. She's like kick ass, like amazing, like to putting it lightly, like unbelievable, like indie artist. Like it's incredible, and her band is like such a sick band too. Like it's like really.
Oh man, did you see her her actual show at the place in Vegas?
Did
She did
not.
a show in Vegas. It was, I forget what it's called, but it was her. She did a set. Carmela had a set. Sashi had a set. It was a whole show. It was a loudly inclusive show actually. It was a loudly inclusive thing. I forget what it was called. It was so freaking good, dude. It was
Yeah.
so good. I did not realize Willow puts on such a good, like, she's a great streamer. She's fun to watch, and she's very like nice, and her music is wonderful, and she's a great singer. And then she puts on a show, and you're like, holy crap, she's a rock star. Willow is the bomb.
Yeah, 1,000%. And yet, like when you chat with our friend Willow, like she's as humble as you can imagine. Like it's incredible. Like I do want to make I wasn't gonna say this publicly, but I want to see if we can get together and help Willow become a partner, because I feel like she has like she's so good.
I think she's on the verge. I think I don't know technically, but I mean, I saw she gets like hundreds of people on a regular basis. I think that she's definitely on the path to partner for sure.
That's part of the reason why I make that point, because like I think she's close too. Like her numbers are definitely getting there. Like they're very, very much on the verge. So
she was at like 300 or 400 the other day. I saw.
Yeah.
So she's on the right track.
No, for sure. It'd be amazing. Her new album's awesome. Future Classic. It's out on all the platforms. Go check it out. I saw her at the Troubadour for the release of that album.
Yeah.
Boy, was that good. That was an incredible concert too. Yeah. Let's get high with a
I have to
partner.
stream more than once a month for that, though.
I would be all about it, though. I would be all about it.
I've considered it. This new job that I have doesn't pay nearly what my old job used to, so I might have to supplement that income with doing some streaming. So
Yeah,
I've considered streaming more often.
for sure, for sure. But it is really cool. It is a really great feeling when people you know and care about get the Twitch partnership. And actually, quite a few have in the last since that time, since 2022 TwitchCon. The Graceful Bard, a really big fan of Graceful Bard. Like she's an awesome,
just wonderful.
Mm-hmm. So she made it to Twitch partnership. Rob Kovacs, our good friend, made it there.
Kimmery Sky.
Kimmery Sky, that's right, absolutely. And
yep, she wasn't partnered yet at that point.
More recently, we've seen Matt Hall Plays, who we've had on the show before. Really, really good fellow, very talented. Just make partner, and the Songery just hit Twitch partnership.
Just like yesterday or a couple days ago. Yeah, Allie got it.
I'm so happy for Allie. I mean, what are just the coolest, most unique channels there are, right? It's great stuff. Yeah. So anyway,
yeah, I'm a big Allie stan. She gives big. I always think of the two people I think of when I think of Allie, big musician wise, are Amanda Palmer and Fiona Apple. Those are the two who I always think of when I think of the Songery. Just with the super artistic, really raw emotion, and just interesting styles. I adore her.
I think it's safe to say with the Songery, no two shows or the streams are the same. You will never. It's such a, like you said, it's a really amazing artistic expression that you see there. Yeah. Davy Pork's Criminal. That'd be funny. Something else. Actually, I may put that in the queue. Actually, that's a good idea, Brendan. But yeah,
I've considered learning that. I've considered learning Criminal.
It's a wicked song, right? It's a good one.
It's one of my favorite songs of all time, and it holds a lot of nostalgic value. Just because I feel like we're around the same age.
Yep.
And when we were young, that song came out, and that song changed my perception on what music could be from a piano perspective. It was so raw, so good.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, Brendan wants me to bork it now. Well, let's get to that in a little bit, Brendan. Just if you're willing to hang out for a little bit, we'll chat a little more, and then we'll get to that. But thanks for the redeem. If I forget, please.
Bass Boombox.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud.
Oh no,
Bass
no,
Boombox
yeah.
is actually one of my friends' friends.
That's gonna be a fun one too. I'm actually really excited about that show coming up, and then we met Bo at the Vegas TwitchCon last year, so that was really fun. Yeah, that was really
So Bo lives in the Bay Area, so I'm friends with Bo, her and her husband, and I'm friends with her husband. Bo is my peoples. I love Bo. So Bo, Joyce Lee, and I, because Joyce is also in the Bay Area. Joyce is seriously one of my best friends, and Joyce and I are such good friends that I mentioned that this last year I spent Thanksgiving with my D&D friends. The year before I spent Thanksgiving with Joyce and her family.
Aww.
Yeah, Joyce is my people, and so is Bo, Bass Boombox. So I miss my Bay Area folks so much because they really are the best.
It is a pretty cool community up there. The compliments are up there too, so that's
yeah.
Great group.
Actually, so Joyce and I, our birthdays are actually right near each other, and so we for the last couple years, this is going to be the first year that we're not doing it, but for 2022 and 2023, we did shared birthday parties. And so we actually, the compliments showed up. If you know Existence 180, she was there, or 130, I mean, she was there. So Existence Dora, she's another Bay Area person. She's really freaking cool. Her and I actually went and saw Matt Walden play. He went on tour and we saw him live.
Sweet.
But yeah, I love the compliments. When I went, actually, what's funny about the 2020 TwitchCon is because I drove down there and we're both in the Bay Area. They were performing, and they actually had to buy a bunch of equipment because they couldn't fly with it. So when they got to San Diego, they had to buy all of this equipment, and then they couldn't do anything with it. So I drove a ton of their gear back from San Diego up to the Bay Area, and my car was just full to the brim of all of this music gear. And it wasn't even just music; it was like advertisements and stuff like that too. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my, yeah, that's really nice of you to do. I'm glad you had enough room in the car to take all that equipment. So,
Yeah.
did them a solid for sure. I hope they repaid you gratuitously, hopefully. But
Yeah.
regardless, that's really cool that you. Um, but yeah, Brendan, I gave you your points back for the Borka song redeem, but I might do it anyway. We'll see where the night takes us. Yeah, I think it's really cool to see all the people you've gotten to know, and wherever you've been, you found people to know. Now, where you live now, I think I'm not sure if I mean I don't I'm concerned about the possible doxing situation there. I don't know if we're at liberty to get into this, but you definitely know someone there.
I know a few people. Like I know in the. I'll just say in what we call the Hudson Valley, which is like the Hudson River. There's a river called the Hudson River. It goes from Lake Champlain, kind of winds out, and then it deposits into the Hudson Bay right there at like New York, New Jersey area, right, Long Island. So that where that Hudson River travels is a section of it called the Hudson Valley, and I'm north of the Hudson Valley, and there are several people, several Twitch streamers who are in that sort of like Hudson Valley-ish area. Um, yeah, and so I know most of I don't know most of them, but I know several folks, several streamers in the Hudson Valley, New York, and I mean I know people all throughout New York as a result. I just discovered, and this is kind of fun. Some of you guys might know who he's a chatter, RK Tech, RK Tech 85. RK Tech is he has a place like 15 minutes from me. So like we were chatting about it. Come summer, him and I are just gonna go hang out on the lake. He's got like a lake house. And RK Tech is like one of the coolest freaking guys. I've known him since my since I first started modding on Mike Bass's channel.
Yo,
Yeah, that's Joe.
That's Joe. Nice.
Yeah. So Architect, he's got a place literally 15 minutes from me.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I'm excited to hang out with him because we've known each other for going on 4 years now.
Oh, it's kind of amazing. Like I was not expecting that you would have such a hotbed of like Twitch community in this little village, or at least being within proximity of so many people that you know. That's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. See you later, Danny. Good luck with the tech stuff.
Danny, thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate the raid. All the best, my friend. Had to end early because of tech stuff. I'm gonna see if I can figure it out. Oh, I see. Oh, sorry about the tech. Sorry about that, my friend. So
I keep it kind of nebulous so I don't dox myself. But I just kind of put it that I'm up in this sort of Lake George area. And that's close enough. That's a big enough area. And it gives everybody an idea of how far away I am from them. And so yeah, it works out pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, that's very smart. I think I remember even like my first week of streaming, I mentioned exactly where like the general neighborhood I was in. Like, I'm not gonna do that again.
Yeah.
but I think people who've gotten to know me probably know more or less where I live now, so that's fine. Like I don't have a lot to hide. But Dave, you have the gate. Oh, I gave it away.
No, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Oh, Mario V68. Why do I feel like I might know Mario V68? I'm not like 100% sure, but
No, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
No, when I was in Oakland, I had before I moved out here, I had sort of like loose contact info, including on my profile page on Twitch. I had loose contact info, so like if you wanted to, I had it listed as just because it's stupid. I had it listed as Boomer Mail, and that was my PO box, and then I had Zoomer Mail, which is my email address. But my PO box is, if you ever looked it up, you could see where it was, and that is like obviously going to be in relative proximity to where I lived. But now I don't even have a PO box anymore, so I got to figure that out.
Oh yeah. The PO box is magical in that regard. I haven't been so good about that. When people ask, "Hey, can I send you some?" I just give them my address.
So that's the thing is there's several folks who have my address, several streamers for sure, where I've like won competitions or whatever, and like I know several folks on here who actually have my actual address.
Oh boy.
Which is fine because I'm not that concerned. If a streamer is going to dox me, that's like a whole big can of worms. I'm not that worried about it.
That's true.
The streamer has a lot more to risk.
That's fair. Yeah. And King, very good to see you, my friend. Welcome in, good friend. King, what's up? Shout out to our friend King. Brett says Davey has mine, I have his. It's mutual assured destruction. It really is. So I really wouldn't even go there unless I've already gotten to know you for a while. So obviously, if someone just chat like first time chatter, I'm not gonna give it to first time chatter. That's not gonna happen. Rothgar says, "Wait, your PO box is not a 2-hour drive away, 2 counties over. Way to live on the wild side." I don't even know.
I should look into PO boxes relatively close to me.
Yeah. Right on. So yeah, I mean, how's the chicken wrap holding up for you?
Chicken wrap's good.
Cool.
I'm a famously slow eater, so I'm gonna be munching at this for probably another several hours.
Oh, okay. No shame in that. Actually, that's the way technically you should be eating. So, lots of respect from me on that one.
I'm a nibbler.
Nibbler. Got it. Okay, so let's do it, folks. It's time once again to give you all the chance to ask questions of our friend Iocane Powder. And if you happen to have come in from Human Juke 81's raid, Peppercorn Lace, thank you for the 4-month resub, by the way. I'm sorry to get to that so late, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now, folks, let's get into America's favorite moment in Twitch broadcasting.
Do the dance. It's time for random questions. It's time.
Yeah.
Ask us anything.
All right, let's do it. Exclamation point question is the way you can ask a question of Iocane Powder tonight. 100% true digestion. Davey has new teeth. Slow eater now. Kind of. Kind of. Good to see you, by the way. I have one question to start us off. What is the origin story of your user handle?
Yeah. So there's a movie called The Princess Bride. It's a classic.
Yes.
Great movie, The Princess Bride. Mm-hmm. My username is a deep cut from that. There's a scene in the movie where the main, the protagonist is in a duel of wits with a character, and one of the lines from it is like, "Never go into a battle of wits when with the Sicilian when death is on the line." And there's 2 glasses of wine, and the bad guy is trying to trick the good guy into drinking, or I'm sorry, 2 glasses of wine, and one of them has poison in it, and the name of the poison is Iocane powder. But then the reveal is that both of the glasses have poison in it. Just one of them has built a tolerance to it, so he can drink it. So that's where Iocane powder comes from. That's the name of the poison that kills Vicini in The Princess Bride.
Yep,
So that's where it comes from. Actually, so the thing is I normally, one of my handles that I use for everything is Iocane, but Iocane is already taken. Somebody already had the username Iocane. And I've even chatted with the person, the person who has the actual username Iocane. I've chatted. I was like, hey, what's the possibility of me getting like can we switch or something? Is there some way that I can get like straight up Iocane as the handle? And the person was really cool. Like, I have no issues with them at all. But they're like, I use it all the time. I'm kind of like, I've got friends and everything, and people know me as Iocane. So it would be weird for me to give it up now that I have like a sort of like a community.
Right.
And I'm like, that's completely fair. And so I've got my little one that's sort of a play on words.
That is pretty cool. And Rothgar, I'm so sorry. Rothgar says, way to snipe my question, because Rothgar's question in the queue was, would you have drunk from my cup or yours? Oh, man. Rothgar, I would like to give you an opportunity to ask an alternate question in that quick. But still, I would love to answer. I would love to get your response. What do you think?
Doesn't matter, right?
Yes, it doesn't matter. You're right.
If it was up to me, I would pick the wine glass in front of me.
Okay. That's good. All right. So, great question, Rothgar. Now, you're free to throw in another one. And remember, we are taking any and all D&D questions tonight. In fact, I got the D&D trivia I asked a few weeks ago. I'm going to give you that trivia in a minute. because I'd love to see how you do.
I'm pretty good at D&D stuff.
I think you're gonna get like almost all of them. Like I'm pretty sure. See, I have no class that would have drunk from the bottle. It's Rothgar. I love it. I love that. Brett says I will buy the Handle Davies each sandwich for $5. Nope, it's already patented, so I'm afraid that will not work, my friend. Let's see. Oh, there you go. That's a good alternate question. Let's go to Brett's question. Brett has a question. 100 duck-sized elephants or 1 elephant-sized duck?
So ducks are already kind of like assholes, right? Like without being too vulgar,
Yeah.
ducks are kind of big jerks already. And so the idea of an elephant-sized duck is kind of nightmare fuel. I'll take a bunch of I'll take 100
Duck-sized elephants?
100 little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very
100
fair.
duck-sized elephants. Yeah, 100 duck-sized elephants is fine because elephants aren't nearly as mean. And the thing is who would want to fight a bunch of elephants? I wouldn't want to fight a bunch of elephants. A bunch of duck-sized elephants, man, that's a dream. That is a dream. I love elephants.
I love it. I love it. So there you go. Thank you, Brett, for your question. That's a phenomenal answer too, by the way. So really cool. Okay, so now we'll get to the question, which is our perennial study of breakfast foods, which Evelyn from Justin and Evelyn famously called the Breakfast Wars. So let's see what you have here for our breakfast war tonight. Here it is. The question is: pancakes, waffles, French toast, or crepes?
Okay. So the for me, this comes down to being between waffles or French toast. Now this is tough because one of my favorite breakfasts is a Bananas Foster's French toast, which so good, like with a nice rum sauce with the vanilla and the banana on the French toast. My favorite breakfast, hands down. But if I'm not going crazy, jazzy, fancy breakfast, I'm feeling probably... No, it's still gonna be French toast. I can't help it. It's gonna be French toast. French toast kind of checks all the boxes. You get the savory, you get the sweet, you get the carbs. You can make it too sweet. You can make it too savory. You can really mix it up, and it goes with everything. I also think a lot about when I eat. Typically, I try to be conscious with like how I eat, like the foods that I eat. And French toast, you can make it as irresponsible as you want, or you can make it really, really healthy, and it's still heckin' good. What's going on, Justin and Evelyn?
Evelyn, it's great to see you. Evelyn from Justin and Evelyn's checked in. Hello, friend.
Crepes are great. I love crepes. I was in Tokyo a couple years ago, back in 2019, and creperies are everywhere. And oh my God, they were so good. But crepes are, for the most part, like in my eyes, even if you try to make them savory, they're a dessert. French toast is satisfying. You eat them, you feel full afterwards, but they're not necessarily heavy. They give you tons of energy. Like I said, you can make they check all the boxes. Waffles came in close second because I love me some chicken and waffles, but yeah, I gotta go French toast.
Well, we appreciate your answer. We've even logged it for our records. And yeah, it's great to see you. Give our friend Justin and Evelyn a follow. They're celebrating 4,000 followers this week, so that's really exciting. Really great. Congratulations, my friends. And Rain, good to see you too. You Loden is in the chat. What joining us? Welcome in. Rothgar has a bonus. Wait, should we put that in? Well, just to follow up, bonus round on breakfast wars: French toast or pain perdu. I don't. Are you familiar?
So, pain perdu. I still got to go. Well, I mean, maybe I'm misremembering what that is. I know it's a bread dish. I gotta Google this.
I should too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, French toast. Pain perdu is that's what I thought it was. It's too crispy. I don't like things being too crispy.
Oh, okay.
It's not the same thing. It's close, but it's not the same thing.
So you're still going to go with the original then, in that case.
Classic, and that's the thing.
Mhm.
French toast, and I might want to be like a little more specific, because I think of French toast, I think of Texas toast. I think of that thick cut kind of brioche, but the big stuff. When I think of that, like pain Perdue, I think of that because I've had that before. I've gone to French restaurants for breakfast, and whenever I've gotten it, it's always been more on the crispy toast side, and I don't like that. I want my breakfast to be like soft and delicate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I dig it. It's such an interesting query because I think somebody said it is the same thing. I mean, it is, but maybe there are just some little accents to it that make one slightly distinguishable from the other. Justin and Evelyn, have we talked about Princess Bride yet? We did a little bit. We were talking about where Io Kane got her handle, which is from the Princess Bride poison scene, and the question was which glass would you take first? Which glass would you take first? And we'll extend that to all of you in the chat. Like which, Ev, which would you take? Which of the two glasses would you pick? We would love
a battle of wits to the death.
So I finally got to see that movie like about 3 years ago. And now I'm like, so many things on Twitch make more sense to me now because I did. So it's really, it was fun. It's a great.
This is my first emote on my thing is a peanut. For anybody want a peanut? That's the first emote I ever made for my Twitch.
That's super cool. That is, and people who know that will really appreciate that. Emote.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I know. I know. King's just 3 years. Welcome to the new. I realize. I recognize that. I picked up on that too. Oh yeah. Rothgar says it is inconceivable that you say. Don't think I didn't pick up on that. The only first time 3 years ago. It's true though. It's kind of. I think I did an Instagram post about that too. I'm like, people are like yelling at me, like, "How could you have waited this long?" Like, I know. So Io Kane, wait. So Io Kane likes their, what is this? What was the line? So Io Kane,
I don't want to say like of a mushy love song. I like it to be like a nice experience, like a good mouthfeel, I say mouthfeel because I know it's a funny phrasing, but I actually am sincere. Like it's you're eating like a crispy piece of toast that like scratches the inside of your mouth. That ain't great. But a nice like soft, spongy, bready, not even super bready, but like a spongy French toast. Oh man, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, Brett says a nice welcome to the day instead of an aggressive call to battle at 7 a.m. I mean, yeah. I see where your head's at, everybody. Let's go to System's question. Cheeser's question, has iocane powder is iocane powder going to Montreal this year?
I want to go to Montreal at some point. I have plans to go there. I might go up there for the eclipse, depending on what happens. My plans to go to Burlington for the eclipse, which is in like a week or two. But if that falls through, then I'll go up to Montreal. I know a ton of people up there too, so I'll hang out with. I've got some folks up there. I'll probably crash on their couch or something.
Let's go.
I do want to go up to Montreal. I love Montreal.
Yeah.
I just love Canada. I'm part of the reason why I moved to upstate New York is because this is about as close to Canada as I could get without moving to Canada. Like, I love Canada.
That sounds great. Actually, I kind of feel like moving there now. Like, if that's true, like maybe I should do that too. Like,
it's good stuff.
Good stuff indeed. I like it. You saw it in the. I think you saw it in the starting soon. But the Schwartz's famous smoked meat sandwich was part of that montage. Tell us a little bit about it. Have you had it? What is it like?
I have not. I haven't had it.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's a very popular place, so I understand.
I'll have to like look it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does Border Patrol know iocane by name yet? I mean, it's kind of an interesting point because you've been to Toronto a lot, right? So maybe I think it's possible.
I've been to Toronto a lot, but that was going through. What's up, Creative? I was going through. I've been to Toronto many, many times, but 90% of that, 90+% of that was through Detroit because I lived there. So I crossed the Ambassador Bridge and the Windsor Tunnel on a very regular basis. I was going to Windsor, which is maybe not the best place to go in Canada, but as a 19-year-old American, you could go to Canada and get drunk. And
Oh wow,
you can't do that in the States.
That's right.
So at 19, I got all that 21-year-old stuff out of the way. And so by the time I turned 21, I was the sort of like seasoned veteran. And yeah. And so I would go to Toronto all the time.
I love that so much. Let's see. Brett says, I'm sorry, Creative says, Windsor, I have a friend who lives there. I can see why. No, I'm just kidding.
Windsor is not a great place, but you know Windsor has a couple things going for it.
Mm-hmm.
One, they at least back in the 90s, in the 2000s, they had an amazing radio station called 89X, and it's no longer what it used to be. It's completely different now, but back then in the 90s and 2000s, 89X was 88.7. That was like alternative music. That's where you heard the good stuff. And there's a rule in Canadian radio where you have to play a certain percentage of your songs. They have to be Canadian songs. So not only did I get to hear all the cool American music, but I got to hear all of this amazing Canadian music that people otherwise might not have heard. Like there's all this stuff that I just think of all this music that I used to love and I thought was normal listening to on the radio. People are like, I've never heard of that song, but it was what we listened to every single day.
So you must have heard artists like Crash Test Dummies and Alanis Morissette much earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crash Test Dummies, Alanis Morissette, Tragically Hip. There was a whole, but there was a oh man, what was the name of that band now? Oh, there's a band that was massive back in the 90s and early 2000s called, it's the silliest name, but they're crazy good. Their name is Biff Naked, and very, very good band. And nobody's ever heard of them except for people in the Windsor, sort of Toronto area. Biff Naked, crazy good, particularly as 90s and 2000s music goes. And yeah, like that's the stuff that I think of when I think of good old 90s and you know that era back when I was a teenager in my early 20s.
Yeah. I remember that well too. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Let me catch up on chat. There's a lot going on. Justice Evelyn was asking earlier. Wait. I learned that a peanut was iCane's first emote, and that's where the Scream name came from, of course. But are those iCane's favorite quotes from the movie?
Oh, it's tough to say what my favorite quotes are from that movie. It's so circumstantial that, like, I feel like the quotes that I end up gravitating to are quotes that, like, and this is, like, typical for most movies. Like, I don't typically gravitate toward the quotes that most people think of. Like the popular ones that people think of, like, As You Wish and, you know, Inconceivable. But, like, a lot of the time, that's not the type of stuff that, like, I kind of, like, resonate with. And it's hard to kind of say... It's hard to say what my favorite quote would be. I don't know. Let me see. There's one of the quotes. I'm just trying to think. One of them is, oh God, no, I can't believe I forgot it. Because I never like say it or hear it or think of it too often. I gotta look it up. But there's a very specific one.
Okay.
I have to look it up because I'm man. Okay, give me a second. I gotta look it up. I remember part of it, but I want to quote it right.
Evelyn says every quote from the movie is the right answer. That's true. But I'd love to hear your quote too, Io. As you look that up, I'll answer Cheeser's question. You prefer bare naked ladies? I mean, they're pretty good too. I mean, they're legends. You know. They might have even been bigger here than they were there, but I'm not really sure. Cheeser, you would know better than I would. But
oh man, I love Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah,
I saw Bare Naked Ladies originally. I remember going to Bare Naked Ladies concert because they hit it big across the country, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember going to a Bare Naked Ladies concert, and then at the Bare Naked Ladies concert, I discovered another band that ended up being a huge sort of influence on me called Guster. So there's a band called Guster that I ended up like just going nuts 4 and 11. 11, 11, 11.
Yeah. Oh, people know Guster. Okay, Brett knows Guster. Peppercorn
Yeah.
knows Guster. That's awesome. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, Guster was a big one.
Yeah. Guster, this just takes me back to streaming. Creative, you probably remember a lot of these bands too, right? Good to see you, Creative. Like shout out to Creative Minds. Quite lives up to the name, I must say. Last time I saw Creative streaming,
totally.
they were talking.
Okay, here's the quote. I couldn't remember it. Here it goes. One of my favorite quotes from The Princess Bride is, "Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something." I love that line.
That's so good.
So,
gosh,
I just love it.
That's great. Yes. Oh, I love it. Yeah, Ev says, yes, I love that one. There we go. Boom. Pump that up too. One of my favorites. I use that one as well. I love it. I love it. How many Princess Bride quotes will we hear during JevCon weekend in a few weeks?
Yeah, right?
Tune in and find out. Woo! Let's see. What do we got here? And with Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. Do you remember them?
It sounds familiar,
Okay.
but I can't place anything. I can't place anything off the top of my head. Yeah. Now I'm trying to think of all the Canadian freaking music I used to listen to, because I listened to a ton of it. I had that radio station on 24/7. And what was great about that radio station is that this is back in the 90s, right? So at 11 o'clock or midnight, that's when Love Lines would come on the radio. This is the channel that had Love Lines with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Our Lady Peace.
That's right.
There was a period of 3 or 4 hours every night where it was just house and trance and techno, stuff like that, for hours. This was on a major radio station. I love that stuff, dude.
That's good times. Yeah, I think a lot of love pouring in for Loveline, which I know was the thing. And I never really caught on to it, but I heard it was really, really good stuff back in the day. Good stuff. Yeah, my friend loved Loveline. Look at that. Yeah, every night. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. J-Man, what's up, George J-Man? The number is inconceivable. There you go. I love that. I'm gonna use. Let's see. This is great. Thank you for joining us, George J-Man. It's good to see you. Let's see. I'm trying to see where else we are here. Yeah, Rothgar says the CanCon laws were not just for music, but also for TV shows, which is very much true. And it actually an entire early 80s revolution was basically because of CanCon. I'll get it out in a different stream though, but good times.
Here's a what's it called? Here's a couple of 90s songs or Canadian songs from back then that some of you may remember. Because apparently that seems to be now my MO, is reminding people of songs that they'd forgotten about after the Valentine's Day thing.
That was good. You got us good. You were dead on when you said that too. Oh, it's that song that we're when you said yeah.
Lorena McKinnon, The Mummers Dance. That song, I love that song. That was a huge song. It's a Canadian singer. She kind of does weird sort of folksy stuff, but it's a great song. Lorena McKinnon, The Mummers Dance. Love that. That's a great one. If you've ever heard Rufus Wainwright, he did a song April Fools back then. That's the song that got him famous. Oh, what a shame that our heart was broke on St. Valentine's, and something like that. That was a big one back then too. So Rufus Wainwright, that's where he got popular, was back then.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mummers Dance is the Mummers Parade, the Philadelphia New Year's tradition. I wouldn't know, but that sounds like it. Yeah. Good deal. Yeah, Peppercorn says my favorite on that album. She's Canadian? Cool.
Yeah.
How about it?
Len, Steal My Sunshine, I don't know if that got popular also. Do other people know of that song?
Oh,
Len,
yeah, definitely. When I was in high school, that was a huge song. When
yeah,
you
that was
steal my
Canadian.
sunshine. Yeah. We definitely know Len. We didn't know the name. We just knew the song, the Steal My Sunshine part, but we knew the song for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a song. This is a song. This is a band and a song that it always is in my head, and I always forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the song is The First Day of Spring, and the name of the band is the Gandharvas. And this nobody's ever heard this song outside of, I feel like, Canadians. But it is such a cool freaking song, and I love this song. First Day of Spring by the Gandharvas, big time recommend. Super 90s feel. So good, so good. Gandharvas, First Day of Spring. I'm looking through some of these songs from back then.
I don't know Gandharva myself, but it sounds like it's in line with everything else, so that's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drinking in LA. I think that one made its way through the States. But there's there's a band called what's it called? It's called Brand Van 3000. They had a song called Drinking in LA. That was a great song. That one is a song that actually, like, my ADHD brain, that song kind of plays in the background on a pretty regular basis.
Oh wow. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Hope to see you in a few weeks, by the way. Justin Nevlin says, well, right back to lurking. It's great to see you, Iocane Powder. Great interviewing content per usual. Well, very nice to see you here, too. Thank you, Ev. Give our friends Justin and Evelyn a follow. Congrats on 4K. Congrats on 4K followers, by the way. That's
Congrats,
awesome.
you guys.
It's huge.
Thanks for coming in.
100%. 100%.
Gandharvas is not Gandalf's personal band. Genuinely, man.
That's a great question.
If you look up that video, it is very not Gandalf.
I can see where your head was at, though, Rain. That's pretty funny. Yeah, you're very welcome. Absolutely. Okay, so let's go to Brendan's question. The question is, have you built up a tolerance to iocane powder? Great question.
I have not, unfortunately, built up a tolerance. I'm a lightweight. This drink that I'm having here, this is gonna take me out. I'm getting sleepy out. No, I'm not. But like I'm a total lightweight.
He has a weakness, says Brett. Well, there you go. Brendan, thank you for your question, though. I still owe you a song, Bork, which I hope to get to in just a minute or two. But 2 more questions first. Let's see. Arathko Aurora, can you explain THAC 0? If you look at THACO, okay.
That's a D&D thing. So THACO
nice.
means to hit AC 0 or to hit armor class 0. It was a D&D 2nd edition mechanic for battle. So if you tried to attack somebody, the mathematical formulation was truncated to just be THACO. And the idea was that you're trying to get the math, the maths to equal as close to 0 as possible. And then you would succeed. The closer to 0, the more you would succeed on your hit. So whereas nowadays, if you play D&D, there's like, you have to roll these dice and hit this number at this number or above. So it's pretty straightforward. You roll a D20. If you have like a 15 on the die and you have +5 and the guy's AC there, the guy's armor class is like 16, but you rolled enough and then you hit 20, that means you hit them. But with THACO, it was stupid complicated. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it. But it was very, very annoying, and it has been left in the 80s with THACO. I guess 90s. I guess 80s. Yeah, 80s, 90s.
Oh, THACO's not a thing anymore. Rip THACO.
No, THACO. It was tested out for 2nd edition. Everybody hated it. Then 3rd edition / 3.5 came out. 3.5 edition did away with it. Yeah, 3.5. 3.5 came out, I think, in the late 90s, early 2000s. And that's what got rid of THACO. And 3.5 edition is crazy complicated, but thank God that was one of the biggest things, was getting rid of THACO. It was awful.
Yeah, sounds like everybody agrees. Creative says, haha, THACO was 0. THACO was so annoying. And Rothko says, I do not miss it at all.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, AD&D.
Yeah.
AD&D is 2nd edition.
Nice, Creative. That's awesome. Now, despite the fact that Brett has knowledge of D&D is not on the same level as yours, Brett was kind enough to send in a question. Here it is. I don't know what any of this means, but is my alignment chaotic, neutral, or lawful?
So the way that works with the chaotic alignment chart is there's 9 categories. You've got, think of it like a tic-tac-toe board. And on the top row is good, the middle row is neutral, and the bottom row is evil. And then from the column perspective, the leftmost column is lawful, the middle column is neutral, and the right column is chaotic. So the idea is, depending on your personality, your motivations, your personality and motivations kind of places you in a different category of this. And so there's examples of different, there's this sort of like famous examples of different folks who fall into different alignments. So for example, Robin Hood, right? Robin Hood is a good guy. He steals from the rich, he gives to the poor. He's a good guy, but he's chaos. He's chaotic good. He does this stuff to benefit others in a very chaotic way. He's maybe neutral good or chaotic good. But then you've got somebody like Darth Vader, who is evil, but he is beset by these very strict rules that he follows. So he's a lawful evil character, right? Or like the Joker from Batman. He is evil, and you never know what to expect. He's chaotic evil. So the alignment chart is made up of these different sort of like categories. Most people that you meet day to day are probably neutral good or neutral good. Another example, the idea of police, like the idea, I'm going to say this, I'm going to be specific with my wordage. The idea of police and like judges and justice is lawful neutral, in that you're an arbiter and an unbiased arbiter of what the rules are. You're not trying to like necessarily help people out, and you're not trying to harm people. You're just trying to express what the written law, the letter of the law is.
Mhm.
So that's like an example of it.
Yep.
So most people fall somewhere in the neutral category, either neutral good, lawful, or even like chaotic neutral is pretty common.
Yep.
Very few people are ever true neutral.
I
And
wonder if there are
almost
any,
nobody's lawful good.
and I can only imagine people who are chaotic. Once you know them, you're like, ooh,
A
right?
lot of people, everybody knows those chaos people, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You know that the person where you're just like, I don't know, like you got to drink in them.
yeah. Yeah, man, where would you put Andy? That's a good question, creative. I think that's just straight up chaotic. I don't think there's any lawful or neutral involved in that one.
Andy the Frenchie is chaotic good. Andy the Frenchie is chaotic
Yes.
good. Sure.
That phenomenal call. Phenomenal call. Yeah, very much chaotic good. Yeah. Well, her stream at least. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, 100%. Chaotic good is a great call. I love that. Let's see. So Rain says, I'm very strongly neutral good. Oh, I believe that. Rain's good people. I love that. Brett says, okay, I don't know what I am. I don't know tights a caper, but that doesn't really matter though, because this is just a personality evaluation. So,
And it's super vague as well. Like it's you're not consigned to any one thing, but it's a nice way to kind of guide. The reason for it is to kind of help guide the motivations for your character. So if you create a character and you want your character to be this certain type of motivation, this certain type of alignment, I mean, you can use the alignment chart to help guide your decision making. If my character, so here's an example. I played a character a few years back. It was one of my more favorite characters I ever played. It was a paladin. It was a tiefling paladin, and the lore in D&D goes, tieflings are humanoids that are descendants from devils. So they have horns, and they're like cool colors, but they're considered like infernal for all intents and purposes. So I was playing this tiefling, and tieflings are kind of always given a bad rap because of their infernal heritage, and there's a lot of, unfortunately, this is just kind of how D&D works. There's a lot of like racism in D&D, like the different like gnomes, like dwarves and elves don't like each other, and there's a lot of that goes on.
I see.
And there's a lot of that towards tieflings, and so I played a character who was a tiefling, who was a paladin, and paladins are typically known for being lawful. And but my paladin was evil. It was lawful evil. So I was playing a lawful evil paladin who their motivations were selfish, but they also followed a strict code. And it was an extremely fun character to play. The character's name was Ossifer Dagby, And the reason I named them as a male character, the reason I named him that was because I was trying to think of what it sounds like when you're drunk and you say officer, and you're like, Ossifer, Ossifer, I'm not drunk. And so I named him Ossifer, and then I rearranged the letters of bad guy, and I portmanteaued it, and so Dagby is a portmanteau or an anagram of bad guy. So Ossifer Dagby, so he's Officer Bad Guy. And he had a Chicago accent. So, do you ever see that old Saturday Night Live skit where they're like, the Bears?
Yeah,
the Bears.
yeah. Bill
That's how he
Swirsky's. Yeah.
Yep.
The
And
Bears.
so that's how the character spoke.
Okay.
And extremely fun character, an idiot, like very, like not particularly high intelligence, but was a very fun character to play. And I picked the lawful evil alignment because he's a paladin, so he's going to be lawful, but he was also selfish. So I picked evil. So he would do a lot of things that were self-serving in the name of like what the rules are. He would like twist the rules to his own benefit. So yeah, that might the Bears.
J-Man
That's
right
how
on
the
top of
character spoke. It was amazing.
Oh, that is amazing. I'd love to have seen that. So like most evangelical Christians, I'm not commenting on that. Gerard asks, have you seen the Deerstalker Pictures take on DNT? Oh, interesting.
I have not. Let me see this.
Interesting.
Oh, it's a YouTube thing?
YouTube
no,
thing?
I haven't
Okay.
seen it. Maybe I have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oops, let me... I'm just like going to
They
click
get
on
creative, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it for questions right now. Get another round of questions in, everybody. Exclamation point question. Well, followed by the question itself. Yeah, Javar says you're missing out. Then we gotta check it out. Then there's a link. Thank you for linking us. We'll check that out.
I've
when
got
we
it
can.
loaded up so I can check it out later.
Cool. For now, what we have for you is Dungeons and Dragons trivia. We asked this trivia of Bad B7 and Calm Down I'm Trying a few weeks ago during their trivia special. Tonight we're gonna give the same trivia to you, and I think you're gonna do even better. Here we go. You ready for it?
Hit me.
Let's go. Okay. Good luck, Io. So every question you get right, you get a point. Every question you get wrong, the chat gets a point. Good luck, my
Oh,
friend.
man. Sorry, chat. I'm really good at trivia.
All right, here you have 10 questions. Here we go. Good luck.
Yeah.
Okay, first question. 5 of these questions came from our friend Jason L. Rush, another avid D&D fan. Very excited.
Good people.
Oh, for sure. Jason's awesome. Okay, here it is. To see who goes first in combat, what would you roll? Is it initiative, intelligence?
Initiative.
You're right. Absolutely. You didn't even... You got...
Yep.
Look how good. Look how... I didn't even need the multiple choice. Like... All right, question number 2. Who invented Dungeons and Dragons?
Gary Gygax.
You got it. I mean, absolutely. Next question. Which of the following is one of the main roles of the game? I can give you the multiple choice if you need it.
I don't know. There's so many things that could be a main role of the game, so I don't know what that means.
Okay.
You got to give me a...
Let's give you, of these choices, which is the main role? Is it the saving throw, a sneaking check, a striking roll, or a wisdom check?
I mean, so here's the reality of this. Saving throw is a main role, but also wisdom check is as well. Those are both roles that you make in very different circumstances. They're both very much main roles. I'll settle on saving throws, though.
You're right. It is a saving throw. You are correct.
Technically, both of those are the right answer. Wisdom is also right.
Interesting.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to let Jason know that. I will let him know. He'll probably appreciate that comment. Question from Rothgard: is it double points if you don't need multiple choice? I'll give that. Yeah, absolutely. So 2 more points. There you go. You're up to 5 so far.
I'll take it.
There you go. Next question. Most dice rolls are committed with a 20-sided dice. We talked about that. If you're using a non-D20, what are you most likely doing?
So first off, most dice roll isn't a d20. Actually, most dice rolls are the different rolls. So be it damage dice, be it... there's a couple different things, but I'll say most likely it's damage. You're rolling for damage if you're not rolling a d20.
You are right. And didn't even give you the multiple choices.
Yeah.
That's impressive. 2 points for IO. Okay, next up. The original D&D had only 3 basic classes. The 2 of them were clerics and magic users. What's the third one?
Okay, so there was cleric, there was magic user, which they changed to things like wizard,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good question.
Okay. We have multiple choice if you want it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so their choices are the warriors, the gladiators, the fighting men, or the soldiers.
Fighting men.
Yes, you're right.
Yep. I was
Fantastic.
gonna say it's not fighter, it's a fighting man. Yeah.
They're all close. That's what's so interesting about that question. So really good, really well thought out, my friend. All right, now to question 6. Let's see, creative says, I think I know this, but I won't say. I was right too. There you go. Nicely done, creative. Absolutely. So here we go. True or false? Dungeons and Dragons was made into a Saturday morning cartoon show.
True.
It is. It was on CBS.
Multiple movies.
Yeah, movies too. You're right. So 9 points so far. This is great. Next question. How much of a budget did the creators get to design D&D?
Which edition?
The very first one.
They didn't get a budget. I mean, you can give me multiple choice. It was just dudes who were making it for fun.
Should we allow that answer, friends? Yeah, I think we allow it. I think we're not.
Gary Gygax and his friends were playing. Like, they were just looking for stuff to do, and between them, just for fun, they developed the system.
Mm-hmm. That's lovely. I love it. We also would have accepted $2,000, but certainly it's in the spirit of the answer. Creative says it was cool too. The cartoon show. I downloaded it at one point. Wow, pretty good. All right. Question number 8. You mentioned D&D movies. How many D&D movies were made between 2000 and 2012?
I know. Movies. Are we talking big screen or also made for TV?
I don't know. I believe these are ones that went to the theater. So I think that's all we're.
So there was. I know there was the one with Jeremy Irons and one of the Wayans guys. I know of that one between 2000 and 2012. Technically speaking, I'm gonna say 1. I'm not sure though.
Very good. Very, very well thought out. Not the answer. No, it was 3. It was 3. And again, I don't know if some of these were made for TV. So if we include those, would you have said 1 as well, or would it have been more than 1?
I would have probably said 2 at that point. I would have still been wrong because I can think of there was a couple things that were made for TV around that period.
Yeah, it's a sneaky question because like that one that came out towards the end of that run was not nearly as well known as the other 2. So that's why it's a tough one. It's a tough one. So
yeah,
all good. Let's see what we have here for question number 9. What is the date for National D&D Day each year?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me just do a real quick thought experiment. Oof. I'm trying to think of like D&D puns.
It's just every day. I love that.
It's gonna be. Oh, make sure you give chat the point because I got that one wrong.
Oh, right.
It's gonna be a pun. I know it's gonna be a pun. It's gonna be like March 6th or something. I don't know. I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna guess. Let's guess here. Let's see. I'm gonna say January 20th.
Yeah. I mean, I love. It's a good guess. I mean, this is a tough question. It's not.
Is there multiple choice?
No. There are no multiple choice questions for this particular question. So.
Okay. Yeah. What is it?
November 5th. November 5th. And
November 5th.
I wish I knew. I wish I could say what it is that makes that the date, but
It's probably Gary Gygax's birthday.
Possible. You know, that would make sense. Yeah. Last question, and you've done. Look at. I mean, 10 points is like it's an amazing run. In D&D, which class is inspired by Lord of the Rings? I do not have multiple choice for this question.
Which class is inspired by Lord of the Rings?
This is tough because like they have works.
But that's a race. That's not a class.
Right. So we wouldn't use that.
It would have to. I mean, if you could give me multiple choice, how about this? I'm gonna say because of the way that it's phrased, I'm gonna say wizard.
See, wizard is a really, really good answer. Really good answer.
But like, let me see here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
This isn't a fair question. Wizard is a natural answer. Unfortunately, not the answer we are looking for. I am reading here that the ranger class is inspired by the
Oh, that makes sense. Strider.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But wizard makes sense too, though. You know, like so ranger class officially. We'll give the chat one more point. And
Well, D&D also is like most of D&D is based off of Lord of the Rings. It's all Tolkien.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can definitely see that when you see the game and see the characters and all that. So like, it's definitely true. Yes, Middle Earth for sure is creative. Love it. I do love Rain saying, technically, is multiple choice. You have 365 choices.
Yeah.
I would have been great if you just went through all the days, like you know, like January 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Would have been here for it. That's great. You did fantastically, folks. Give our friend Io a hand. 10 questions right. Really great. Well done.
So I guess technically 7 questions right, I'd say.
Right.
But several of them I knew before you even gave me the possibility.
That was really good. Those first 5, you were like just boom, just crushed. And those are the hard ones. The other ones were just kind of like pop trivia sort of things. The first 5 were hardcore questions, so those are great.
When it comes to mechanics, yeah, those were all mechanical things. The other ones were like, those were true trivia, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So great stuff. I have an additional trivia we can get to if we have time for it later. But meanwhile, let's get back to the questions. Exclamation point question if you want to ask a question of Io tonight, and we'll keep rolling through them tonight as we go along. Let's go to Rain's question. The question is, what got you into D&D?
Just being a huge nerd for the most part. I was a super big nerd my whole life. Loved fantasy. I mean, my favorite book is The Hobbit. I read it when I was in 5th grade, and my uncle gave it to me to read. I loved it, and I've also I've always been very rebellious. I'm a bit of a rebel, you guys. I back in the 80s and 90s, because I'm that old, there was a big thing back then called the Satanic Panic, where stuff like D&D was considered like horrible and awful, and like even talking about it, you're gonna go to hell. And that sounded great to me. I wanted to be part of that. And so I sought it out. I looked up what D&D was, and that's kind of where I got my start.
I love that connector. I mean, naturally, if you're a fan of Tolkien, you're going to be a fan of D&D and vice versa. It just feels like the two kind of mingle with each other a lot. So very cool. Yep.
Actually, I found D&D through playing Magic the Gathering.
Oh,
that's a funny thing. Back when Magic the Gathering first came out in the early mid-90s, I played it back then.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played it in decades, but back then when it was only like 3 or 4 editions were out at the time, I played the hell out of it. And one of the people who I played Magic with was like, "Oh, you might like D&D," and I'm like, "Tell me more."
That's super cool. How would you distinguish the gameplay of one versus the other?
They're completely different, completely unrelated. No similarities at all, to be honest. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see.
They're both fun though.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Rothgar says, D&D may be based on Tolkien, but I bet Frodo is glad he never had to face down a Mind Flayer or a Beholder.
Yeah, I mean, he did have to face down Sauron. That whole thing and the ring wraiths are pretty freaking dope. That's scarier in my opinion than the ring wraiths, I think, are scarier than a beholder.
Interesting. Jafar says, and then Peter bought them, which, yeah, he did. Very much so. Brett is back from the quiz. Brett says, I finished my quiz. It said I am a lawful good level 5 elf, sorcerer / wizard. Is that good?
Nice.
It's pretty good.
A lawful good elf, level 5 sorcerer wizard. That's not a great combination, but it could be fun. The perks of sorcerer and wizard can kind of be fun together, but they work off different stat blocks. So you wouldn't be particularly good at any one thing, but you could be a pretty fun sort of jack of all trades. You'd be squishy, super duper squishy. You have no proficiency in any armor, no weapon proficiencies to speak of. You just kind of can cast spells in very funny ways. Be utility.
So that sounds entertaining. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. That good combo sounds like me.
It's not that it's not a good idea. It's just not an optimized combo. And that's one of the things about playing D&D that I've learned in many years of playing is that I love playing non-optimized characters. I love playing a character that like messes up.
Yeah.
Few things bring me more pleasure when I play D&D than failing a roll. I love to fail rolls because then you got to figure out some other way of doing it. You wanted to like you wanted to schmooze this aristocrat, and you bombed your persuasion or whatever. Now you got to figure out another way to try to convince them, since you obviously can't speak to them because you're just like unable to speak. And that makes for a lot of fun.
Ooh, creativity in play. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
So, folks, particularly folks like Creative and Rothgar and Rain, I would like you to know that next week's show, we're gonna have the Carrot on, and we're gonna do I am going to participate in a D&D one shot next week. So don't miss it. We're gonna do it for real next week, and Carrot has a fun special version of the game that she set up. So this will be a really, really good show. Like y'all, this will be a really good show on top of this show, which is also really, really good. Did Donkey and Shrek roll a 20 in seduction? Oh.
I mean,
what do you think?
That's a whole thing. I think that Donkey got game. Donkey is a bard at the end of the day. So Donkey absolutely got those high persuasion rolls. Big charisma scores.
Oh, I love that. I believe it too. Everything I've seen, Donkey has bard vibes. Had it from the jump. Like, absolutely. Rain says, I have it down my schedule. Oh, I love it. Rain, thank you. Thank you very much for scheduling that. It should be a really fun time.
One of the things I really like about D&D too is that, so an example is like talk about like a bard.
Mm-hmm.
You're not necessarily pigeonholed into any one thing. You can do a lot of fun stuff with D&D. Like I said, I've been playing it for many years. I've had a lot of characters. One of my favorite characters of all time, actually my number one favorite character isn't that Paladin. That Paladin is a funny one. That Ossifer Dagby is a super fun character. I had a great time playing that character. My number one favorite character is a Necromancer. And that character is a ton of fun, not because they have a particularly great personality, because they actually are kind of a stinker, but because of the funny situations that my character ends up getting itself into. I can do funny things. People think of a necromancer, you think of a bad guy, you think of a bad person who does awful things. And in the world of D&D, necromancy isn't necessarily, it's a bit of a taboo, but it's not like evil. Magic is like a tool, it's a utility. So necromancy is just being able to control the elements of life and death. And up until the most recent edition of D&D, spells like curing, like healing, cure wounds, that was a necromancy spell because you're controlling the elements of life and death. So necromancy is a really cool thing. And so one of the, literally my favorite character of all time is a necromancer, and they're not an evil character, but everything they do is creepy and gross because they're dealing with death and zombies and skeletons and stuff like that. But they do it to benefit people. So saving the village, using the corpses of their ancestors, which is gross, but kind of awesome.
A good thing it's fantasy, right? But I don't know, maybe there's something noble about it, I guess. I mean, like you said, though
it's the tools that this character has. This is the tools that the character has.
Yeah.
Another character I have who is a bard, people think of a bard as like this, like I'm gonna hook up with all the barmaids and everything. And I have a character who is a bard who is terrifying. So when we think of bard, we think of people using their charisma, charisma being like force of will and their ability to influence things using their force of will. That's like what a bard does, right? That's what a sorcerer does. They use their charisma, their force of will. But if you were to do that on an evil way, that's scary. And I was thinking about that. I actually created a character who is very scary. It's a horror bard. And the character is basically Pennywise from Stephen King's It. And not like literally, but sort of those same vibes where the character is scary and it makes people super uncomfortable, and they carry around because they're a clown. It's a horror clown, and they have like a maul, which is basically a gigantic mallet, or in this case, like a hammer, like a cartoon hammer almost. Except they're vicious. They're like borderline Joker from Batman meets Pennywise from It, and it's a horror clown, and nobody ever thinks of playing a bard in that way. And this character I've like played in multiple situations, and people are just like, I don't know if I like playing with that character because it's such an uncomfortable thing. Like it kind of like itches your brain in a way that makes you uncomfortable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's definitely there's definitely some mind games that are involved with it, right? Trying to visualize yourself as like such a character. It like you said, like it's a little scary to think about, but
yeah,
I think it's cool that you can do that in a game, in
That's why I love it.
Right, for sure. Creative said, "This is so amazing." I agree. That's an amazing like deep dive into that character.
I could go at lengths about all the silly characters and weird ideas I've had for characters, and like that Tuesday group that I have. Like I love that group because they're always come up with really funny ideas for characters, like weird stuff.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of fun.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, Rothgar's comment is brilliant. Necromancers want the same thing as everyone, to raise a family in peace. They are not their family, but the principle applies.
Yeah, I like this one. Let's see here. Necromancers want to raise a family. Barbarians want to raise a family.
That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. Then that is a clutch line right there.
Yeah.
Oh, the wordplay is brilliant. I mean, King, are you in our chat? Can we quote both of those? Like these are great. These need to be added to our quote system. Like, so good. Oh my goodness, phenomenal. Like, that's great. I do have a follow-up question. Do you think every streamer on Twitch with the word bard in their name is a fan of D&D?
I think for the most part, I think most people are a fan of D&D in principle.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea of being able to kind of have fun and do silly things like that. But like, I think I'm gonna take your question. I'm gonna extend it.
Okay.
I'm gonna extend it to: do you think every music streamer on Twitch would be a bard? And my answer to that would be no, because I think that many Twitch streamers, even though they might be playing music, I think that they would actually kind of fall into different categories. We actually talked about this on Alana Maddie's stream a week or so ago, where we're saying that she, in my opinion, Alana Maddie would be like a paladin. She's very like stoic and strong, and she got that like grip strength from all the rock climbing. And I think that kind of goes for a lot of people. They could be they wouldn't necessarily fall into the bard category just because they're musicians and they do their streaming on Twitch. I think that a lot of folks would fall under different categories.
That's a really great analysis of Atlanta's position scenario there too. Like, that's true. Like, I do see a lot of that. Like, very much strong. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you for that response. That's above and beyond. Like, great answer, Io. Thank you. Let's see. Nice, Brett. Well, hopefully, Yeah, so Brett says, okay, I texted my mom to let her know she birthed a pretty shitty character and she should re-roll. So anyway, I'm uninvited to Easter. All right, so question queue is empty. We would love to take another round of questions if you got them. Throw them in. We'd love to get that to you. Reciting Easter hymns a la typo negative wasn't helping your cause. That was good. That's good, Io. Pretty fun. Yeah. Well, that's really awesome. So we've covered pretty much it. Yeah. Did you ever end up seeing that? It's like Creative said that they saw the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon series. It actually did look pretty good from what little I've seen of it, like clips and whatever. So
I watched it a little bit. It was all right.
Mhm.
It was kind of it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
Nothing particularly great. I'm actually rewatching because the new X-Men '97 stuff just came out.
Yep.
I'm rewatching all of the original X-Men cartoon from the '90s, and I'm realizing how my perception on a lot of that stuff has changed as an adult.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I remember as a kid thinking Gambit was the coolest guy in the world, and up until like maybe a couple days ago, I was like, yeah, Gambit's so dope. And now I'm rewatching those old X-Men cartoons. I'm like, yeah, Gambit's kind of not a great guy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and Gambit's actually kind of awful. But I didn't realize that as a kid.
Interesting. Pick up on things, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rothgar says, just waiting for your suspiciously similar twin brother that no one has ever heard of, Reddington Frothing Slosh, to show up. Oh boy. Yeah, Gambit isn't... Well, a name like Gambit, you do think that there's something sus about him. So maybe there's something to that. But it's kind of neat to see that show brought to the limelight again, because I remember when it was on too, and it was like, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good show. Like, it was surprising success. Like, it was on much longer than they were expecting. So
It was like 6 seasons or something like that.
yeah, that's crazy for a cartoon show. Like, cartoon shows rarely last that long most of the time.
Especially when you consider, like, most of us watched it in syndication on, like, Saturday morning cartoons, so there was no continuity. I have no idea what any of the stories were like. Up until now, I'm rewatching. I never understood any of the stories because it was always just random episodes from throughout the series.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Was there continuity back then? I guess there would have been.
There is. There
Wow.
absolutely is
Really?
continuity.
Okay.
Like, now that I'm watching through it, the whole first season I'm done with. I'm into the second season.
Yeah.
The whole first season, actually, here's an example.
Mhm.
So you know that they've made these X-Men movies over the years, and I'm just going to assume that you're fairly familiar with the names of some of these X-Men movies. 2 of the episodes in the first season of the X-Men cartoons was Days of Future Past.
Oh, no kidding.
Which is the name of one of the movies.
Yeah, yeah.
And the movie, they're directly related. They're all based off of the same issues of comic books.
Wow. Yeah, I think X-Men, from the comic book to this cartoon to the movies, were really ahead of their time in terms of their content and the themes they explore and the characters. They're really amazing stuff. Yeah, Brett's is kind of always hating Cyclops. Emo X-Man.
So Cyclops used to be like, Cyclops has always been kind of a weenie, but like in the new X-Men '97, he seems pretty cool. I've only watched the first episode, but they've actually really redeemed Cyclops in a big way. So that's part of the reason why I'm rewatching the old stuff, to kind of get myself caught up to the new one. I just wanted to watch the first episode because Dream On's music is in it.
Are you beat me to it? I was just gonna bring that up. Yeah, and how cool is that? Our friend Dree's got a song in there. That is just amazing. I'm so happy for Dree. That's so cool. Yeah. Creative mentioned it. Yeah, all 3 of us got to it at the same time. Creative just says the Twitch streamer has a song in the first episode too. It's
I
awesome.
watched the first episode so I could like watch that scene and like sort of like share in that joy of hers. But like then I realized that I had no idea what the heck was going on with the actual original. So I went back and I watched the I'm watching the original series.
That must have been an amazing experience for Creative when Creative says I was watching it and I'm like, wait, what's that? It's like, I know that song. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, 100% on Dree. Dree is such a treasure. Like, have you met Dree at this yet? Because I don't remember. Was Dree at
Dree was at San Diego. I met
thought
Dree
so.
at San Diego. I don't think she was actually at the convention, but I met her afterward at something. I think she might have been at the convention, but I did meet her. I did hang out with her.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah.
At one of the there were so many things that were going on afterwards. I met her at one of them.
Yeah. That's true. There was a lot going on that whole weekend. And the side projects people were doing, like they were doing videos and like different parts of town, and then you found out about them later. Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
There's stuff on the beach, stuff all over the place. So many things going on.
Yeah. Did you catch? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, let me just say goodbye to Hrothgar. Thank you so much for hanging out, Hrothgar. It was really great to pick your brain on D&D too. Like that was really great. So take care, Hrothgar. Welcome. Good to see you.
Yeah, you have a good one. Lonely.
Yeah. But anyway, you were saying about the beach.
Well, I was just saying that it was all the stuff that happened like outside of the convention that was really the fun stuff. The convention was cool. It was kind of cool. I had a lot of great experiences at the convention, hanging out. That's when I got to actually meet like Hannah, Rebecca, and Joe. Just absolute delights. Actually, Hannah interviewed me at the convention, and I had never met her before. And she's like, "Oh, you," because I mentioned earlier that like I mod for a lot of people. I still do. And one of the people I mod for is a channel called Paleontologizing. Paleontologizing, if you're not familiar, he's a dinosaur paleontologist, and he's one of the top science streamers on Twitch. Effectively, the only science streamers that are more popular than him, viewer-wise and all that, is NASA.
Wow. No kidding.
So he's one of the top science streamers on Twitch. And he's also a person, like an IRL friend of mine. Like we're friends. And so he lived back where I used to in the Bay. And so I'm actually friends with him, and I mod for him. And so one of Hannah's mods is a guy named Diatom's Attacks, who is also really cool. He does a lot of microscope streams. And so she's sort of in the vein of lots of science creators as well. She's like, oh my God, it's like, okay, not only are you in music, but you're also in this, kind of like Diatoms. And so her and Joe interviewed me at TwitchCon and completely threw me for a loop, because I'm like, why are you interviewing me? Like, I'm like,
because you're cool. That's
like,
why.
Like, I'm hiding under a tree. But like, so the convention itself was really, really fun. But like the convention itself was fun. Back in 2022, it was also so hot because we were outside, very little shade. We were like one of the only things that were outside, just like in 2023, outside again. But very, very hot again. But all the fun stuff was afterward. Afterward, we went to the different events, the different bars and the different things. And one of the events that we did that a few folks were at, C-Dub was there, Decibel
yeah,
was
right.
there. There's a whole bunch of us. We went to this like jam session in a hotel room, and
I was there too. But I don't remember.
Were you there?
I was there.
Got there
That was on Sunday, right?
Yeah, I got there late.
Okay. I was a very silent member, just to be fair. Like I was like tucked away in the corner.
I was very silent too, but here's the thing. Everybody, like I would say half the people left. Okay? So half the people left.
Yeah.
And after half the people left, there was maybe, I don't know, 10 of us left in that room. There was like Matt Suarez and like Aphotic Votan.
Yep.
Jory, Joyce, Lindy Cass was there. I know she's not on Twitch very much anymore, but Lindy was there. So there was a few of us there, and we were all like jamming out. And that particular jam session was like a big deal for me because, and this is something that I feel like you all kind of experienced at the karaoke thing. A lot of people don't know that I do music. Right. So we're doing the jam session thing, and I started singing and playing songs, and people were like, what the F? And it was this really funny moment, and it was a very like validating moment for me. Have people be like, holy crap, like I didn't realize that like you knew how to sing and that you could do stuff like this. Because I don't. I'm not too super big on the performing music, or at least I wasn't back then. And yeah, and it's something that like I historically had been really self-conscious about. And I didn't really do. And so it was kind of me kind of coming out of my shell a little bit. And I was met with the most positive feedback that it made me want to keep going down that, keep pursuing that a little bit more and going down that, exploring that more. So that jam session, and it was unfortunate. It was after everybody left, but like there was still a lot of people left. It was a lot of fun.
For sure. Yeah, I was extremely grateful and honored
Oh,
to
I
be.
do remember you there now. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I remember you now.
No,
I'm like
I
going
remember.
back. So there was the violin guy was there too. I'm like suddenly remembering more and
That
more
was
people.
Sarah Mahoney, and then
Yep.
her partner at the time, whoever Trevor Owens.
Trevor
music.
Owens.
Yeah. That's the other guy. Yeah. And he was really good with the violin. Like his violin is great.
Fantastic. Dude is killing it.
Yeah.
Tearing it up.
Yeah. And I agree with everything you said, Creative. Yeah. We it's been talked about in previous streams too, so I feel you on that as well. But I think there's a lot to that, I'm sure. But I'll say this, even though Twitch has changed, and I think everyone knows that in the last year, maybe even the last 6 months, there is actually a lot of life on the platform, and I do think it's really cool to see new streamers kind of make their way. And I love that you had your moment in the spot. I was actually surprised. I was surprised they gave me the guitar. I'm like, I don't play guitar, but like, yeah, you can do it. You can figure it out. It's like, oh, okay.
So positive.
I love that. Isn't that just amazing? That was just an amazing night. It was an amazing night. I'm glad you crushed it. I remember that. Like, it was really cool. It was so cool. Super cool. Yeah.
It was a fun time, and it was just really rewarding, and it was an example of why I enjoy Twitch so much, because it is just so wholesome and so uplifting and so supportive. Everybody wants you to do better, and even if you struggle, it's still like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Like you're the first step to being good at something is sucking at something. So like just like do it.
Yeah, for sure. It was fun. It was a fun time. I was trying to figure out if there was a way we could reproduce that magic in 2023 in Vegas. I'm like, can we do this again? No, but we did have a really good karaoke night out of it, which was really, really fantastic. I'll have to invite you to the next one when we go to San Diego. Like, let me know if you want in, because
yeah, like
you're in.
We've got all this time too. Like,
Yeah.
100%. Like, there's I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for Vegas, for San Diego. I've got some things going on in terms of like I still don't have a hotel room or anything, but
Same.
like
me too.
yeah, I'm still figuring all of that out.
Okay.
I'm normally very, very prepared. Like I got my rooms the day that the previous conventions were announced. I immediately had my flight and rooms booked instantly.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first year I haven't done that, so
Yeah.
I'm still kind of figuring all that out.
Yeah, I gotcha. Brett says, will you be renting a conference room? Probably not this time, because I think with the way that's set up, there may not be time for a conference room stream that weekend. What I'm thinking of like having a suite, and then I've already scoped out the machine. Like I'm gonna have this karaoke machine that's in walnut. There's a walnut finish. Do you know there's a karaoke machine with a walnut finish, like and a disco ball?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the goal. It's we're gonna crowdfund. No, I can afford it. We'll go get it, and then that's what I'm hoping to do. We can just set that up. Yeah, baller level shit. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. Like I hope the lodging works out for you too. I know there's still a lot of time though. It's only March. Like it's not until September. Like there's plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you should be all right.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
I think this time. So normally when I go, I'm the one who has the room, and then I let people like crash with me.
Yeah.
But I might have to do the opposite this time. I might be crashing with somebody else. But that's fine. Totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Rain. Like you can make similar moments with new friends, which I've definitely done. I've met some new people just like a few months. Panda's actually one of them. Like Panda's someone I only met like 4 months ago. Like it was really great to get to know Panda in the short amount of time that I remember her being on stream. So it's been really cool.
Yeah.
So
Panda was at Vegas. Yeah, I hung out with Panda a bunch in Vegas.
Yeah. Panda had this really cool card trick exhibit, that demonstration that she was part of with some other folks, and that was really good to see.
Yeah,
too.
with Infozar and all them.
Yeah. So good times. Yep. I think that's about all. I think we are out of questions. So, this has been a good time. I'll ask an interesting follow-up. What kind of a theme would you be interested in for future karaoke shows? Like, are there any particular kind of genres you want to explore for whatever our next karaoke show would be? Because I'm always coming up with new themes. So
I have no idea. I feel like I like sort of seasonal stuff is nice because it's not just like some arbitrary like we're gonna do 80s, we're gonna do night. It's like if it's a seasonal thing and that like Valentine's Day love stuff, like that's nice because it's like now we did this,
right.
and it doesn't mean it's excluding tons of stuff, but it is it's seasonal, and then like maybe again next year just make it sort of like an annual thing, like a tradition.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know. For example, like if we're moving, I'm thinking like I don't know, April. What could be April thing? Like songs of sort of like renewal. I don't know, stuff like that, where you're sort of like embracing the idea of spring. You could sing like Kimmery Sky song Petrichor, right? Like stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's a great idea.
I don't know. I'm not good at that stuff. That's why I don't host stuff like that. I have no idea.
But spring is cool. I like spring. Spring is good. Like I like spring and April flowers.
Yeah, here comes the sun. Ba-da-da. Like that stuff.
Yeah.
Like that seems very springy to me.
Renewal edition. Yeah, life renewal. Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why.
Yeah.
You had to hide
Get a
away
little-
from yourself. Yeah.
Some yellow. Some yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I like it. Dig it. Okay. I guess I think that's about it for the moment. And again, thank you so much for being a part. I mean, it's so great to have all your Twitch institutional knowledge in our spotlight tonight. Like it's really good to get to know you and know all the cool people you've hung out with and all the people you will hang out with down the road too. It just sounds like you do have a fun time ahead of you for the most part. Glad to hear that. Thank you, Creative. I appreciate that. Any final words before we close it up and find someone to raid?
Just thanks for having me on. Like Twitch has become like a big thing. The music community's been a big thing. I'm involved in election more than just the music community, but music is probably my central figure. And the Twitch music community, I owe a lot to the Twitch community. Like I feel like that's one of the reasons why a lot of people know me is that I kind of like float from channel to channel, community to community because everybody's so wonderful, and I kind of just like I enjoy the company of everybody. I enjoy being on folk streams, hearing everybody's different styles, all the interesting stuff that they do, and I feel like I owe so much to Twitch in that regard. Like it's helped me through a lot of hard times. TwitchCons themselves, like I'm just going to those things. Those are like TwitchCon this year is probably going to be like that. That's effectively one of my big trips this year is going to TwitchCon. And I'm really looking forward to it. I have every. I know you shouldn't have expectations for things, but I do. I have big expectations that this is going to be a bunch of fun because it's always a bunch of fun. Yep. And worst comes to worst, I just get to see all my friends. I get to hang out with my friends, and that's a big deal. And I know I have fun in San Diego. San Diego's wonderful. So it'll be a good time. Hopefully it won't be as hot.
I feel like we have a decent chance there. Vegas, I'm not so sure. Good thing we're not going back there. That was kind of
at least we could go to the beach in San Diego.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we don't talk about Vegas because it wasn't just that; it was the traffic too. It was brutal getting around.
Dude.
Oh,
with the F1 and all that, just so terrible.
Yeah.
And everything was so expensive. Isn't that what's so wild about Vegas? Is like the draw for Vegas is that it might be terribly uncomfortable. It might be in the middle of nowhere. It might be loud and noisy, but at least it's cheap. And it's not even cheap anymore. Everything was so expensive.
It wasn't. Like certainly wasn't that weekend. Like the drinks were outrageous outside of TwitchCon. It was. We don't talk about Vegas. No. There we go, Rain. Yeah. Nowhere is cheap anymore. Except I guess where Iowa is. Maybe that's an exception to the rule, but.
Where I am, it is cheap, but that's because there's nothing here. And actually, even that thing that I ordered for my sandwich and everything, even that was a little bit pricey because I had to have it specially delivered.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just wild. It's just wild. But yeah, Jamin, thank you so much. He says thank you for the stream tonight. Thank you,
sure.
and thank you for Creative was really kind to say I got to get Iacane on my channel at some point. Well, hopefully you do. I guarantee you it'll be a great interview. That's what I can tell you that for sure.
Good time. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks. And absolutely, you'll have a friend in for the next karaoke. Whenever we do it, I'll figure it out. Figure out the theme too. Probably gonna be like
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thank you all. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Creative. Go follow all of our friends on Twitch. They are all streaming from time to time. Rain too. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. J-Man, good to see you too. So, from the category of Twitch, there are many streamers that as you mentioned, you are familiar with. Do you have any suggestions as to places we can raid tonight?
So I know Kimmery is actually doing a show in Austin with Dan Clancy and the Owens brothers. So they're doing a big live set. That's a potential.
Okay.
Julie Clark has got something going on.
Okay.
Who else? Joyce is has got a big comeback thing right now. There's so many great people on. Kevin's on. Lots of good folks. Honestly, my go-to, typically speaking, I don't like to raid big people. I like to raid little people. I like to raid like 50 and under viewers personally. So if I had a suggestion, it would be probably somebody like, it looks like Brendan just started.
Okay.
Who else on? Gibson Lenses on.
Nice.
David Frank Drums. Man, I love David Frank Drums.
He's pretty cool.
He's one of the best drummers on here. Scott Shue. Delta Crab, formerly Delta Crab.
Yep.
Yeah. Lots of folks, lots of good folks to potentially go to.
Yeah, a lot of good choices here, and I'm not surprised at all. You have many choices. This is great. Like I appreciate your taste in music. It really just gives us many great ideas here. Brendan's on. Let me go see. Double check that.
I just refreshed my stream. Yeah, I see Brendan. I see who else? Gibson Lens.
That's cool.
Got Shoe. David Frank Drums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pork Roll Bob.
Oh, Pork Roll
Kevin
Bob. I hadn't seen
Long.
him in a minute. Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You get happy your LA comrades CA in LA.
Oh yeah, that's right. Happy Maryland Day to them. Absolutely. Yeah. Good times. But I agree with your statement. Let's go small tonight. I like that idea. Let's go something intimate and cozy tonight. And I think Brendan would be a good choice. Let's go with it. I think they're in starting soon screen. Seems like a solid choice.
Let's see here. He's still starting up. I mean, yeah, we could go to somebody who's actually actively streaming.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Let's see. In that case, we can then go to. Let's see. I'm looking at this myself, checking because everybody you mentioned I follow. So let me just roll through here. Oh yeah, David Frank Drums. Good times. Yeah. So he's pretty good. Keep going. And who else is on?
Oh, we could go big. We could raid DJ Clancy.
I don't think we've ever attempted that. That would be kind of fun. Okay.
Yeah, screw it. Let's raid him, DJ Clancy.
Okay. If he recognizes us, great. If not, I don't care. That's fine. But it'll still be fun either way. That's as big as it gets.
Yeah.
We've just done a 180.
CEO.
This might be one of the few times I'll actually get to do this anyway. So, because I never know when he's on. So, we'll say hello to our friend, our boss, basically, Dan Clancy and Kimmery, who we both met Kimmery over in Vegas TwitchCon.
Yeah, man.
She's fun.
I'm such a big fan of Kimmery.
Same. She's really talented. Like every now and again I go back there and I'm like, damn, she can sing. Like she's so good.
Homegirl's got the best pipes on Twitch, in my opinion. Like Kimmery, Joliet, Tyler.
Yeah.
Like three of the absolute best pipes on Twitch.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with all three. Really great. So, folks, let's go do the raid. We're gonna raid the CEO of Twitch right now. Y'all, make sure to follow DJ Clancy when you get there. It looks like a really cool show, though, y'all. So, this is quite a good time. Creative, thank you. Have a good night, y'all. Thank you so much. Good night. I appreciate you. We'll see you probably on Wednesday. over here. Are you streaming at any? Are you streaming in the near future?
I have no active plans when I'm gonna stream. I just sort of stream when I feel like it.
Okay. Well, then, in that
very
case,
responsible.
here's the link. Go follow our friend Io, and you'll know when an Io's on next. Yeah, enjoy. Yeah, Mood Io, I love it. All right, guys. All right, thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. We'll see you at Dan Clancy.
See you later, everybody.
Bye,
This was
Ron.
great.
Thanks.